Somebody's watching me.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It is I, JP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. And it's Saturday, and we're playing the Outer Worlds. And how are you? I've missed you all. What are you doing? What's new? I'm so happy to see everybody. Hi. Hello. We are playing the Outer Worlds, and I have things, to talk about. The first one is that Rissa told me. Well, Rissa told me that I should not stay up too late working on the Roll20 character sheet, and I did not. I did, however, stay up too late working on the design of the Camlin Viper, and I thought it would just be like a second, but then it wasn't a second. It was longer than a second because I had some thoughts, and I'm going to tell you those thoughts, but I'm going to tell you those thoughts after. I think you know. I'm going to tell you those thoughts after I sing the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time. And there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. I like Bob. Bob, drop the B's, Bo, Ob, or Fred. Fred, drop the F's, fo, red, or Mary. Mary, drop the M's, mo, airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Fuzzy Gamer. Fuzzy gamer, buzzy gamer, banana feta for Uzzy gamer, fee fi more muzzy gamer. Fuzzy gamer, the name game. Woo! Thank you for that sub, Fuzzy Gamer. How are you? That's so awesome. Yay! Thank you for the sub. Also, new sub and also a name that begins with B, F, or M. Both of those things make me excited and very happy. Thank you, Fuzzy. Fuzzy. Uh, what did you stay up late doing? I will tell you. When a moment lasts a lifetime, the Camlin Viper. Yes. Oh, I will tell you about it because I'm very excited, actually. Rissa, I did not look. I was just like, I'm just gonna go into the spreadsheet and I'm just gonna change the pew pew the weapon from like a particle beam to a pulse laser. Just take me like 2 seconds, and I did that, and it just took me 2 seconds, and I was like, see, that was easy. I should just go to bed now. And then I was like, well, I wonder if I can get like a little bit more armor, you know? So I thought about that a little bit, and I was like, oh, just want to get a little bit more armor on this thing to make it a little bit more durable. What could I cut? What could I like condense? And I was like, and so I was thinking about that, and I was like, you know what? It probably doesn't actually need the countermeasure suite, which is like 2 displacement tons. This is like, please remember, this is like a 15 displacement ton vehicle. And I was like, it probably doesn't actually need that electronic countermeasure suite, which is like 2 tons. That's so much. There were some subs last night. Ooh, yes. Yes, I know. I don't usually sing during RPG streams, though. Let me see if I can find them. Also, thank you for the follow. Oh, Fuzzy Gamer, you just followed. I just saw that you followed. I don't know if you know what that means, but that means I also sing because, you know, that is sort of my life. So, for the follow, come on up. I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-bow. Thank you so much for the follow, Fuzzy Gamer. That's also a song too. We did get some good ones. Oh, so nice, so nice. All right, let me see what chat is saying while we are, you know, in this moment. Oh, Max asked us on my shirt. Well, I've got to come back over here. Let me see. I will tell you. I'm awake, unless I didn't sleep. Oh, I did sleep. Some. He'll have a time to sleep in September when the fall semester starts. No, I've got my buddy here. We're gonna be hanging out. He's gonna be staying over, but I'm gonna stream. I'm going to go to the pharmacy. I'm going to clear off my futon. It's gonna be good times. Wait. Max Ryder does begin with an M. That is a true statement because that is true. True statement. And then I did sleep though. Was that it was an RPG stream ish. So I did it from a stealth and search and field to a true spacer. No, actually, I made it even worse or better. Fuzzy Gamer says, well, I was not expecting this. Glad to catch a stream. Found you while searching for travel-related stuff. Oh, wow. Cool. Thank you. You're in luck, because I'm going to talk about what I did to the Camlin Viper last night when I should have not been doing things to Camlin Viper, but then I did. So we could talk about it. I'm very excited. So I made that. So the shirt that I'm wearing is, so this is for a podcast that I was asked to be on, and the podcast is STP, which is also an in-joke, and it stands for Stealth the Transmasculine Podcast. And it's a podcast for transmasc folks who are old. Basically what they do is they do interviews with trans folks who have transitioned more than 20 years ago. So it's a way for people to like find out what it was like to be trans, be a trans guy, 20 years ago. So they're like, apparently a lot of young folks listen to it who are like, oh, we didn't know that they were like trans elders. Although I don't really think of myself as an elder. I kind of think of myself as like an uncle, maybe. Less grandpa, more uncle. Anyhow, so, and because I was on it, they gave me this t-shirt. And it's it's both like, it's both the initials for the podcast, but also if you're in the lingo, an STP is also a stand to pee device, so that you can use a urinal. So it is both of those things. It was okay. It was a mechanic stream. This is true. That is not me on the left. That image was before I got there. But that can't be a trans, is a new thing. Yeah, it just happened yesterday. Uh, you're right. But it's also about what kind of alerts I get. And also, did I read out? I feel like I must have read out tips and bits. I feel like I did. I feel like I didn't miss it. Okay, look, I need to tell you, as we start the game, technically, what it is that I did to the Camlin Viper. Because I was like, oh, what have we got? So, this is what happened. I was like, so I gave it this electronic countermeasure suite, and I thought that would be a really great thing to let it have, and I was like, no, I'm gonna cut it because it's 2 displacement tons. They'll give me space to add more armor. And then I went back and forth on the stealth drive. Josh says, in Trooper's defense, you did spend extra time to go over stuff and read off everything. Spots. Oh, good, I did. Good. And as I'm like thinking about this, I was like, well, let me go and check out some other stuff. And this is what I saw something, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what ended up happening. I was like, you know what? I have to increase the ship size from 15 to 20. Now, 20 is rough because 20 D-tons can technically still fit in the hold of the Gambler, but it's going to be really rough because it's so big and it's going to take up almost all their cargo space, and getting it in and out is going to be terrible. However, that's not a problem if they get a docking clamp. For 500,000 credits, which they might be able to get access to in some way. We'll see. For that much money, they can get a docking clamp installed on the Gambler, which will then attach this ship right to the Gambler itself, and then it won't take up any space in their cargo hold, and it'll be easier for them to get in and out. It'll be much better for them because what they got is going to be a little bit rough. So then I was like, okay, if I increase it to 20 displacement tons, that gives it more hit points, hull points, rather than being, because you get 1 hull point for every 2.5 displacement tons the ship size is, and at 15, that meant it had 6 hull points. So at 20, it has 10, which already gave it like, it had 8 before. Now it has 10, which like makes it stronger, makes it better. I was like, okay, that's good. And then I was like, and this also gives me extra space to give it more armor. And I was like, great, this will make it a little bit more resilient. Awesome. But then I was looking around at like docking clamps, right, to figure out like how I was thinking about getting it attached. They're gonna have to spend, well, this is gonna be a bit of an issue for them, because in order for them to get docking, well, here's the thing. This is actually going to raise some really great ethical conundrums for them that I think will be really, really awesome. Like really awesome, because, right, yeah, you'd have to put the docking clamp on the Gambler. If you put the docking clamp on the Gambler, then the Serpent can just get in there, right? So, did someone call for Fernando Special Services? Licensed counseling and unlicensed aftermarket parts. So, first, let me tell you what I added to the Camlin Viper. We're gonna have to do another stream, like probably Tuesday or Wednesday, to run it through its paces one more time. But so I also was looking around and I was like, now I know exactly what this shuttle has to do and what it has to be, in addition to what it is. I added a breaching tube and a forced linkage grapple. They could simply get trans-dimensional technology. Why can't it work the other way around? That's a very good question. I'm gonna smaller spacecraft have the. I'm gonna have to do a search on this one. Have the docking clamp attached. Let's see, Mongoose Traveler. Well, we're gonna go and see, because it says, according to the rules, a docking clamp allows a spacecraft to carry a small craft or other vessel on the outside of the hull. So I do not think you can, but I'm gonna go and do a little bit of web searching to see. Yeah, no, I really think you have to attach it to the larger ship, which would be really interesting, though, for reasons. So, here's a thought. Let me just hit resume. So the thing is, right, yeah, I know what's happening. So I added a breaching tube and a force linkage grappler onto the Camlin Viper, and I also kept the stealth thrust drive. So what does this do? This allows this to be a ship, because now you also know what one of the other. It's like a breaching. It's like a stealth and a breaching shuttle. So the ship itself can scoot. It won't. I also increased its maneuver drive to a thrust 7 drive rather than thrust 6, which means it should be faster than most things out there. So the ship itself, all stealth and very small, can like super sneaky speed up, fly over to a ship. If the ship is not moving, easy peasy. Or if the ship is, if the ship is not moving, it's super easy. Or if it's moving slowly, also super easy. It stealths up so nobody knows it's arriving. If there's a problem, then it'll have to like use its massive thrusters to speed. And what it will do is it'll get within, it'll get adjacent to the ship, and then it'll grapple it, attach itself to that ship, put its force breaching tube in, cut the hull open, and then the soldiers that are inside that ship will like run into that other ship and do shenanigans. Because pirates like to have a good breaching ship, and sometimes navies also do. Navies will also have a breaching ship. So this will be a little. It's like it's basically a breaching shuttle, and it allows the navy to like drop off like a squad, like a secret squad, onto a planet, or attach itself to a ship, forcefully enter the ship. Right. I'm just saying. But consent. No consent. But I forget, how late are you streaming? 3:30. That's how I'm going till 3:30. So it is. I had to. Because I put in the breaching tube and the dock. I had to. I couldn't increase the armor as much as I wanted, but the ship went from eight hull points and 6 armor. 5. It had 8 hull points and 5 armor to 10 hull points and I think 7 armor, 6 or 7 armor. So it is much more hardy than it was before. It's bigger. But so here is the exciting thing when it comes to hard choices for our crew. And this I really love. I'm very excited for this. This ship is I need to eat food because my character is addicted to food and apparently has to eat regularly, but that's cool. Let's have some chocolate. Nice. Okay, so did that. We're gonna go in. So here's the exciting thing. Right now, we have got some Imperial forces about to massacre a bunch of people on this planet, including the president of this planet, in order to start a war with the Aslan. And we have like an Aslan yacht out in space. We have got a second son and a witness. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and our protagonists are in a shuttle about to look at this scene of a massacre, and they have to decide whether or not they want to let it happen or not let it happen. If they hello, vending machine. If they screw over the do they keep good relations with GDCO? It's technically not GDCO, but you know. If they keep good relations with GDCO, then they get to keep using, they still get access to the space station. And that space station has all sorts of stuff in it that might be, it's a good space station. They can use that space, and they actually have really good, that space station is not so, they don't care as much about the law, so they can actually get they can get a decent percentage if they fence things there. And they know someone who can fence things, so they can get a pretty decent percentage from fencing things there. And that means they can also, they have yet to go and find to do their trade, which they need like 3 days or so to like get all the stuff they need together for trade. And if they do that, right, if they keep good relationships with the Thebes Highport Corporation, and that means they come back up, there's no big problems, no big deal. That means they get to go and spend some time doing trade, which means they could also get that docking clamp installed, which means they can keep that shuttle, right? They can have the shuttle they can fly that shuttle out into space, keep it out in space a little bit, because they cannot land that shuttle in the high port, but they can go and have it like out in space there waiting for them. Once they get the docking clamp installed, they can go and attach that thing to them, so they'll have a very expensive shuttle that might help them in their piracy some, and that would be great for them. Or they could, sell it for a huge amount of money if they can find a good fence. And all that would be great, but all that would also involve them not burning their relationship with the Theban Highport Corporation. However, there may be a slight conflict. I mean, the question is what they're going to do about the people down below. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Face it, the hard choice the gambler will have is staying alive to get the ship off world. We'll see. We also have a dead guide with a note, potentially skewing things. Yeah. Hey, Lonku, how are you? Lonku, I was thinking about you. because, you know, you speak German. And I was thinking about, I have got a bunch of things in here. Where did I get all this stuff? Huh. Let me sort. Value, weight, value to weight ratio, damage rating, melee, name. Let's see if we can maybe relieve ourselves of some extra goods that we don't need that we can sell. Okay, look, we're gonna sell as much as we can because we don't have a lot of money is what I'm trying to tell you. I spent some money customizing some of those weapons, and so, you know, it's just a little yeah, so we're just gonna do that. And look, extra things that we can get rid of. Da-da! I hope you're proud of me. Da-da. I did feed Jezza. One small issue with that, the gambler's true inherited love of fire and the idea that the only good bridge is a flaming pile of ash. Well, see, if that's how they feel, which is fine, I just have to give them more and more opportunities for them to, what's the word? Double down on those choices that they make. You know, I'm just here to see how far they'll go. That's really it. How far will you go? How far? And then we'll find out how many bridges they'll burn, and who will be standing on those bridges, and how many orphans will be standing on those bridges when they burn them. That's really all I want to know. And I feel like if we find that out, and what is this? The Ultimate Bolter. A new handgun procured by Josh, never before manufactured in the Halcyon system, hot from the Josh labs, but put our brand in your hand. Oh, that seems like that could be bad. Well, this looks exciting, but I do not have the money for that. So maybe another time. I'm going to also put this weapon away because I feel like I feel like it's rude to talk to people with a weapon in your hand. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feels a little rude to me. So we're gonna go and chat with this.
Sorry about that. I'll buzz you right in.
Oh, thanks.
Have a look around, sir.
You have a huge hammer. Well, thanks.
I wonder how many of these boxes fell off the back of the loader.
All of them? All of them? Yes. I wish I could have chat right here on top of my screen, but, you know. And Sue stoking the flames. Oh, yeah. Sue is exciting. Double or Nothing, the gambler way. We're gonna. I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm really glad that we're gonna have everybody here for this session on Friday. We are not gonna have Rocket the week after, but this coming Friday is like the crucial session because I have got. We're gonna find out what they're gonna do, and what the fate of this town is gonna be. And I have to tell you something else. I want to show you something. It's real bad. And by real bad, I mean it's just part of my obsession. Hold on. So, you may not know this about me. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I have GM'd Traveler before. I GM'd Traveler using the GURPS Traveler system. Oh, back in grad school. So, in the aughts, is when I last GM'd Traveler. Let's go in here. Hey, it's our guy. I do not want to kill him, but I do want to see everything that's in this building. So I GM'd Traveler way back in the day, and when I GM'd Traveler, this is right an off-stream game, I was also a little extra because I like to be a little extra. I feel like he's not looking at me. I feel like maybe I cannot steal these things if he's all, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, let's just take that. So we're gonna go and just see what's here. Ooh, we don't need that. Hey, Schmeltz of Gates. With the last few weeks of schedule juggling, how many episodes are still left? So here's the thing. This is a thing I've started doing. Oh, there are two people here. This is the thing I've started doing ever since the last season of Kolos, because I was like, none of this will not have this happen. Have you ever thought about not stealing it? Look, I didn't steal everything. I didn't steal that mask. This mask right here, I didn't steal it. It's only level 14 and it's only worth like 18 credits. So I'm not even going to steal it. Not even worth it. See how good I am? So good. You don't even know. I will, however, just pick that guy's pockets and take everything he owns just because I was here. And we can just check it out later. And also this person. Just take whatever it is that she's got. Looks like she's got food. I want to steal it, but I think that she'll notice. So let's not. Because it's like, right, but what if she doesn't notice? And I could just steal it. All right, let's back up so they don't know that we were in here to steal things. And then just stand up and then walk in like we just walked in. That don't impress me much. Thank you. So there are some things that I used to do. I was thinking about. Hello. I was thinking about ways to make the life easier for my players, etc.
Troublemakers out of airlocks. We just throw them over the edge.
Oh, that's nice. I feel like I should steal everything from them, but I won't. So I was thinking about the ways in which I can make my players easier, my players' lives easier, because, you know, I care about that sort of thing. And in the process, I was going over I went over some of the old stuff that I did for the GURPS game way back when, and I found, hey Chromatic, how are you? So one of the things that I did was I made forms. Traveler comes with forms, like in universe forms, and well, some of the old Traveler books do, right? And I made my own versions of those forms back in the day. So like, for example, this is the ship's registry form, which has the ship's name, the register number, the tech level, the ship class, hull size, all that stuff, right? It's like a character sheet for your ship, but it's an in-universe one. It has the flight plan form. This is going to be these two things here, the cargo manifest, the passenger manifest, the crew manifest. Those right there are going to be the key pieces. And what I'm going to do is, and I just have a couple of, when I picked up one of I have a Far Future Enterprises, which is those are the ones that I made, by the way. Far Future Enterprises, which is the company that, Mark Miller's company that is the aftermath of Mark Miller. Mark Miller now has created Far Future Enterprises and owns all this Traveler stuff again. And I have there's a CD-ROM you can get with all of the old classic travel stuff, all of it. And I got that way back, and it includes there's a supplement that has a bunch of forms, and so I was going over the old classic traveler forms, and I was looking to see what they have, and I print them out so I can ponder them. They have this like equipment data and weapon data form, which I don't think I'm going to need. They've got their character generation data, which again I don't need. They have got their let me show you some random ID cards, which have like research station access cards, which is like fun little props. That's exciting. Like that's like just fun prop time, but I love a good prop, and I love giving my players good props when we can. Imperial Navy personnel identification, Imperial Marine Force Command, right, that's just fun excitement there. Press identification kit, Travelers Aid Society card, which I actually do need to make one of those for Rocket because her character's a member of the Traveler Aid Society. And then let me see what else is in here. These here are all from the original Traveler. That's not exciting. Mercenary ticket, which will not be exciting for them. Expo message, which is like a telegram, and we always like a good telegram form, especially if you've ever played Call of Cthulhu, which I have. So I'm going to need to make sure that I make some copies of this so that I can send them expo messages, because that will be exciting. Like, very, very, very exciting to me, at least, because then I can give them telegrams. It'll be like Call of Cthulhu all over again, but in space, and who does not want that? This is their version of the cargo manifest, which I'll probably go and revisit. They've got ship's papers, which I will go and sort of compare their version to my version, which I think that's more of like a ship character sheet, which I don't think I'll need to copy. And then a personnel form, which is a like sort of like a character sheet, which we'll check out. Anyway, the point is, I'm going to go over these old Traveler forms, and then I am going to compare that to the forms that I made for GURPS Traveler Interstellar Wars, and then I'm going to come up with basically a version that will sort of combine those two, the old classic Traveler, the GURPS Traveler, and make it for the Mongoose crew, Mongoose Traveler, our Gamblers crew, so they can always have the flight details. Like they can have all that stuff. I'll make it a Google Doc, and then I'll make it a Google Doc with like multiple pages, multiple tabs with all that stuff in there. And I will probably, because my last crew had a smuggler's hold of like four displacement tons. It was like a little small little smuggler's compartment. So they would sometimes have illegal goods on their ship. I know that is shocking. But so then they had 2 sets of books, and so I can actually put 2 up there for them. And I think this will make it much, much easier to track what they have, what passengers they have, what cargo they have, what's going on. And I think knowing that these are in-game documents that are stored on their ship, that people can go and when they get their regular inspections, they know that people will be looking at these forms in the world. I think that'll be like a nice touch, and I don't think it'll take me very long to do that, so I'm very excited about it. Just my brain gets really happy at seeing all the code systems in Traveler. If you can read a barcode, you can know so much about a place or a ship base. Yes. It's actually very cool. And they've got a thing called the UPP, which is a universal personality profile. And it's a little code that people have, but it is also your main stats, right? So it's a 6-digit code, which will let people know what your strength, dex, endurance, intelligence, education, social standing is, right? So it's like 787 BC A, right? And that will tell you what their stats are. So if you know the little codes, and it's really not that hard. It's just that because they just use the like a hexadecimal numeric system, so that they go it's 0 through 9, and then instead of having a 10, because that would take 2 digits, it's A, and then an 11 is a B, a 12 is a C, 13 is a D, 14, 15 EF, right? So once you know that, although I feel like it's extended. Anyway, then you can read a lot of that stuff, and it's like, I love it when things are in game. Is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Chromatic says one of the best companies, 155 or so books and magazines on that desk set. Yeah, and I don't know if it's in one of my boxes or if it's on there, but yeah, you can get all of the old Classic Traveler, and the Classic Traveler it's all there. Sometimes you can even have Call of Cthulhu in space. Yes, you can. See, the thing is, Sithel, Cthulhu's not in space, no, but like a lot of other people are. You know what I mean? And by people, I mean great old ones that are set to do terrible things to you, which I don't think is bad. Well, immersion ticket could be a good for them if they find incriminating evidence of someone using illicit mercs. Ooh, that's true. Yes. Yes, it is true. I love that. Hello? What do we have in here that we can maybe visit? And by visit, I mean steal. Because, you know, I need... Oh, let's hope there are no people in here, because that would be awkward. You know, just a little awkward. That'll be like confronting the outer gods in their own backyard. What could go wrong? Nothing. You're like, I want to find out where the Migo go. And where they go is, you should go where the Migo. Migo where the Migo. Nothing could go wrong with that whatsoever. Oh, the Migo. What things have you left in the bathroom? Okay, drugs. That's cool. More like antibiotics. Why did you leave antibiotics in the bathroom? I'm not even going to ask. They don't have any OSHA here, so... I think we just let a sprat out of the bathroom. Hi, slug workers.
Night still on then?
Yeah, we're on. I got 500 riding on Dr. Billy taking it all.
You bet on a sprat named Dr. Billy? What's he a doctor of?
Victory.
I don't think you can get a PhD in victory. I'm just saying. Yeah, they extended it. But it was clear it was more like just like Hex could from the start, right? Love that. Chromatic says.
Absurd. Sprats can't earn doctorates.
That's what I was saying.
Doctor, he does what he wants.
That's multiple years of study. Do
Yeah.
sprats even live that long?
That's what I'm saying.
No idea. All I know is he's going for a second doctorate in netting me an obscene amount of money.
What's his dissertation in, though? Excuse me. Chromatic said, I once wanted to create a traveler adventure set on a wrecked spaceliner zombie line outbreak meets Poseidon adventure. There is
Did you
a...
see the one they shipped in this week? Now that is a sprat of unusual size. Had a crazy look in its eyes, too.
You have a crazy look in your eyes.
There is a GURPS adventure that is derelict ship in space and zombie outbreak. Oh, hey, look at that, everybody. Looks like there's something mysterious over there to look at. Yeah, it was the first transhuman space adventure that they came out with, and it was called, oh gosh, what was it called? It was called, oh, I have the adventure. Orbital Decay, as I think it was called. Now some people didn't like it because they did not think it was transhuman space enough. It was like too horror for what they thought transhuman space would be. But nonetheless, the point is, there is one like that, and it was a very, I have run it. All right, we did that. We're going to do this. I need to read. Isn't there a great old one and a bunch of fungus people on Pluto? Yes, there is, which is why going into outer space is awesome. Oh yes, Cthulhu prefers sleeping, but the other mythos creatures even belong in space. Yeah, Cthulhu's a little lazy, is what I'm trying to say. Like, he's one of the laziest ones. Well, you too can enjoy the safety of being a brain in a jar. Dead Space type, yes. So project is, I'm really excited about creating some of these forms and adapting them to make them work really well. I'm really excited about there being like an official form and like perhaps a non-official form, all traveler style. And I'm going to, and I'm gonna, I was thinking a lot about the character sheet in Roll20 and how it doesn't do what, like, I think it's, oh my gosh. Wow.
The biology of this sprat is highly unusual. This
Yes,
sprat
it
has
is.
been in contact with multiple parasites, yet shows no symptoms of infection.
Interesting. Sprats do have highly adaptive immune systems.
An excellent point, Inspector. The unique immunological subsystem found in sprats is advantageous in fending off parasites, pathogens, and other biological threats.
Nyoka, any idea what's going on with the sprat?
Sprats are hardy little shits. Their immune system fights off pretty much everything.
So what is this huge sprat? Look, there's clearly, they killed Halcyon Helen because she knew about the parasites.
Based on slug records of board-issued punitive sanctions against sublight salvage and shipping, this sprat is most likely intended for cage fighting.
Yeah, that's not what I think is going on though. So, but why is the sprat so big?
A cursory analysis of this organism's anatomy suggests it was bred deliberately for its unusually large size.
Interesting. Interesting. We find all of this exceedingly suspicious. Is that sprat poop? I was just wondering if that was sprat poop. It didn't necessarily look like it, but you know, just a... You are a very cute sprat, but I understand that you're involved in cage fighting, so you're probably dangerous. So let's just steal things from people that we can then sell so we can have more money, so we can upgrade our weapons so that we don't die tragically in some kind of workplace accident. I don't think I talked to these people yet, though, did I?
Sublight Underground takes care of its own.
Right? Wait. There's another sprat of unusual size up there. Did you notice that? I feel like they're trying to use the sprats so that some people do not get infected with the terribleness. This is my current thought. I mean, I can't.
See? Making your card game look like a big illegal secret just makes it more fun.
Oh, this is the hidden gambling room? Well, I feel like if it's hidden, then I can take all the things in here and nobody will be able to say anything about it, which I feel like that's okay. I feel like that's completely ethical. Maybe. I'm gonna just find out what you all are talking about in the chat. Hello. Okay, not talking to you then.
Hey there, little buddy.
There are a
Isn't he
lot.
just the cutest.
Yeah. Does that look like blood to you over there? I never know if all the blood that's hanging out is hanging out because of murder or worker incompetence, right? Those are just not things I know. There's stuff going on up here that I think isn't probably important, but I am going to... Oh. Was it not that interesting? We'll check it out.
We don't toss troublemakers out of airlocks. We just throw them over the edge.
Great. All right. Look at us. We have been very, very deliberate. We've seen almost everything. I feel like I'm not allowed to take any of these things, which I think is distressing. It makes me a little sad. But that's okay. Oh, I want to be over there. There we go. Okay. Chat, I know you're saying something really important, and I'm going to go and find out what you're saying.
We don't toss troublemakers out of airlocks. We just throw them over the edge.
In, like, all their computers are busted. These people are very, very, sketchy and questionable.
Wait, maybe this N-ray warning isn't decorative.
Oh,
We're the future of sublight. Just you wait and see.
okay. All right, friends. Look at all these things I cannot steal because people are looking at me. That is so sad. Well, I suppose I'll survive it. Let's walk back, and while we're walking... Oh, that's fragile. It's Italian. I'm going to find out what you're all saying in chat. And also... going up this ramp again. Stop, thief! My character I would play for Scion would actually be a Mythos Scion with a space theme. Oh, that sounds exciting. But more as in liminal space-time thing than outer space. There's a theory that I will share with you right now. Well, in about 4 seconds after I finish reading chat. Those sprats are so sus. I mean,
Why'd Helen have to go and die in our hotel? We don't need that kind of notoriety.
why do a big hammer? I feel like somebody's using those sprats, or somebody wants to use those sprats as a means to inoculate themselves from the parasites. Restricted access. Ooh, that sounds like a fun place to go. We should go there after we talk to everybody, just in case it's a problem if we go there. Like, if there's a big fight that happens, because there's some things to explode and, you know. Seems like there's a person in there. Feel like we should open the door. Do a quick, 1C with our little exciting device. Put our gun down because that's rude. Save. You know, just make sure we're good. And then, yeah, this place is totally not safe. Okay, see the lack of railings? This is what I'm saying. People could fall. It's a very dangerous place. Trooper, I'm going to look at chat. Also, Trooper does. I just looked at chat. I did. If that's the spread, I'd hate to see the red herring. Me too, right? Y'all, I just ordered Stop Thief, the game, the board game for my ludomusicology class in the fall. I just want you to know that I did that. Also, I talked about forums. So before next Friday, when the players come back, I want to, I was telling you about the Roll20 character sheets. So somebody, there's a community-made Roll20 character sheet, which is fine, but it doesn't do all the things I need it to do. And so having run through that game, thank you for running through that with me on yesterday. I'm now gonna be able to go and spend some time, not this weekend, of course, but starting on Monday. I want to go and upgrade the character sheet because it has like the NPC tab, the PC tab, and the spaceship tab. And so I want to update that to actually make that spaceship tab better, like make it actually something that is really useful. And what I think I can do is I want to make it work like a character sheet a bit more, right? So I want to be able to have them from that sheet be able to click buttons, right, to do rolls, or at least, yeah, like I want them to be able to like, I want to be able to have their, I want to be able to have a little chart with critical hit damage, right, and like the whole table. So there's a bunch of things I think that can be put in there that will be useful. And yeah. And so I want to see if, and of course, I don't have a lot of experience with, I don't know JavaScript. I know Python and Java. So I don't know JavaScript, but I'm pretty, since I have some kind of a coding background, I'm not like a real coder like real people, but you know, I took it for a year in undergrad. If there are examples of sheets that do have this stuff, I can study that code and then figure out how it works and then port it over. And look, that's when I first started learning how to code computer programs, which was probably in 6th grade. Actually, that's not true. I think I first started learning code in 4th or 5th grade, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. If you know Python and Java, you'll be fine with JS. Oh, okay, good. Because I didn't know if I would be fine with it. Like, because you don't know, you know what I mean? So, Outer Worlds needs some turtle-like creatures, so a mutated sprat can see some martial arts. Yes. Yes. Especially if those sprats are teenaged. Teenage Mutant Ninja Sprats. Yes, Trooper, use the chat, but I wrote like 10 minutes ago. Okay, that's fair. Do any of you remember the thing that they first started teaching us how to code computer coding with? It was, I cannot remember what it was now. It was like a little turtle. This is back in the Apple IIe days, folks. So we're talking about like 1981, 82. It was like a little turtle, and you would like type in like go to, right? And you would like this, we're all talking about basic. Okay, yes, the turtle logo. Thank you. The turtle, right? There was that little turtle, and you would like, they would teach you how to like type in like 10, 20, 30, go to 10, right? Unlock the old, yes. I'm so glad I could unlock some old core memories from some of the people who are young like me. And I remember we first started learning that, and I basically then did a lot of teaching myself basic by, if you did what was it? It was like Command Escape. Like while the program was running, if you're running a program, while it was running, if you could break out of it, you could hit like Command Escape or whatever it was, and basically crash the program, get to the command line, and then you could print the program. And it would list the entire basic code, which then I would then print out in the .mixes printer on the library. And then I would have this code, and I would like study it. I'd be like, okay, how is this code made? And I would read through it. And a lot of the stuff was like, especially stuff with graphics was like a little bit beyond my little 11-year-old self. I mean, because I was like, I need to know. Well, the thing is, with the graphic stuff, what I needed to do was be able to actually practice using it on the computer itself, but I didn't have a home computer. So I could only do stuff on the computers in the library. And graphics needed a bit, like I did do some practice, like, okay, here's how you draw a line, right? A diagonal line across the screen, here's how you do stuff. But I didn't have the dedicated time. Like if I had a computer at home, I would have just spent hours working on how to do graphics in BASIC. But I was able to get like a little bit of stuff, but I wasn't able to like, get super advanced because I didn't own my own computer. But I got pretty good at like figuring out how to do basic programming. And yeah, 10 go to 22. Yes, logo was. Oh yeah. Print 10, print Trooper 20, go to 10. Yes. Logo was different, but that was like my first introduction to computer programming. And I remember one of my friends, her dad was a computer programmer, and he wrote a book, and that he wrote a book that taught you basic by teaching you how to program a game, and the game was called Shanghai something or other. It might have been just Shanghai. Logo only did drawing. It was like move 5, turn 45 moves. Yes, that is right. I remember that. It might have been. Anyway, do you remember that game? There's a game, if you remember it. It was. You looked at in the folks Hochschule in the 80s on the Commodore 64. Yes, Lone Cool, I appreciate you. So there was a game that was sort of on the good old coding in school, QBasic and Turbo Pascal. Me and a friend made a soccer game in that wants to commemorate our class winning the school soccer. Oh, that is so cool. So this was a game that I had on the Palm Pilot, although I didn't have a Palm Pilot, I had a handspring. And this was basically clearly a clone of this earlier game from the 80s. Yeah, I programmed a lot on the C64 because my uncle gave me his when he got an IBM. Oh, nice. Tandies were the cheap one from Radio Shack. So it was a game where you were a trader with a D, not a T, and you had a ship, and you were it was like basically opium. Like you were like going through Shanghai, you were selling opium, and like you would go to different ports and you would like buy goods, sell goods, and the price would like fluctuate depending on where you went. And you might have encounters when you're floating around, which could be bad. So you wanted to like buy cannon to upgrade your ship so that you would be a little bit less likely to be injured. It's kind of like, so FTL is kind of like this, but FTL is way too advanced. There was an earlier game that was called, it was a drug dealing game, as a matter of fact. No, you're right, the Teddy wasn't that cheap, but it was cheaper than the other stuff. Yeah, basically, right? And so FTL is sort of like a modern version of it, but there was an earlier version that's also set in space, and this game, Shanghai, was a way earlier version than that. And it was all done in AppleSoft Base. It was all done in BASIC. And I remember looking at that book and I was like, oh, this book will teach you how to like create this. It's all text-based, right? Create a game where and it was all explained everything. I wish I still had that book. And I remember thinking, this is amazing. If I had my own computer, I could go through this and like teach myself all that. Y'all, could you imagine what kind of shenanigans I would have gotten up into had I had access to a home computer back in the 80s? The Princess of Hephaestus Copper Locket. This locket contains a small picture of a young, dashing woman. On the interior door of the locket, the following is inscribed: even if we have to live out the rest of our lives in exiles, you'll always be royalty to me, Sarah Yuko. Oh, hey, look, it's one of those little boop, boop, boop things. Love it. Love it. Y'all, we're gonna be doing more Traveler things. I'm going to do this.
I can take a hint.
Yeah. Let's, Oh, sorry, I'm hungry. I was chatting with you all and I got hungry all of a sudden. So let me do that and see if this will be enough. No, I need 150 power for this. I can't have everything I want. I'm so sad. I also don't have enough for hack? What? I'm down by 5. I need 5 more hacking. I wonder if I can increase my hacking with some kind of food or beverage that I have. Okay, I might be able to increase my hacking with some sort of food or beverage or clothing. Because my hacking's 100, I just need 5 more. So let me see if I have some kind of hacking related thing. Science? Science? Does hacking fall under science? Because if it does, then maybe this will help me. Or is it its own separate skill? Let's see. Character. Skills. Oop. No, it's under tech. Right, okay, so, no. Hacking is under stealth. Okay, so I feel like we might be able... Okay, let me see. I need something hacking, stealth. Stealth skills -5, that's bad. So we want something that will give us bonus to stealth. Hey, these glasses will give me a bonus to hacking. I'm just gonna... Remember, I'm using that plus handguns thing. Just go over here for a second. I had a thing that was hack plus 7. I just... if you had access to a home computer, you would have turned out a lot like Seamus Young. I bet I would have, actually. I bet I would have. Sounds like a Star Traders and all those similar type games, text-based versions of... Yes, Vulpus, that's exactly what it was like, but it was set during the Opium Wars in the Pacific. Yes. I think you're right. I think I totally would have been like Seamus Young. I'm going to make a note about this. Did you ever dream of on a programming with... Volus, I did. And when I was in the Army, I knew I was in the Army with some people who actually had done punch card stuff. I wanted to do punch card stuff so bad. There is something wrong with me, but I was like, that would be the coolest. From B. Chan. Subject, it happened again. Pens? Soda? I'll never understand where you get the energy to care about this shit, Tinsley. I don't know what to tell you. Pretty much the only ones that handle any cargo are the automechanicals. You can come look at them anytime you want, but even I have better things to do than help you exact justice on a void-damned pen thief, Benton. That's from B. Chan to Tinsley. From E. Tinsley to B. Chan. Benton, we're missing cargo again, just random shit. This time we've lost 5 boxes of blue pens and a couple of purpleberry sodas. I can't see a pattern. We got all those Deadeye MK Mark IIs in the other day, and not one of them went missing. So it's not like the skimmer's going for the most expensive cargo. As far as I can tell, shit's getting skimmed from the crates before they make it inside freight storage and processing. Could someone be breaking to the shipping yard at night, do you think? Oh. B. Chances, Ella, whoever snuck over to the shipping yard and messed with the loading automechs to go to... Tell whoever snuck over to the shipping yard and messed with the loading automechs to go to hell, will you? Those things break down enough as it is. And I'll be damned if I'm going to haul cargo around myself. Mysteries. Okay. We've got some outgoing messages. Oh. We learned some stuff. Okay. B. Chan says... Penn said that one, and then Tinsley goes, in that case, there must be a problem with the automechs. I'll swing by when I can and see what's malfunctioning. Besides you, in response to seriously, okay, but you have to admit, it's a little funny to see an automech dance. It's not my fault they're so damn easy to hack. Seriously, a primal could do it. I like these two. They're probably all dead now. Missing cargo list. Here's a list of what's gone missing so far, or at least everything I've noticed. See what I mean about there not being a pattern? 6911, 8 cases of purpleberry punch, 2 boxes of pens, blue. 6906, 16 pallets of cacao milk. 6891, 300 small portrait images, S. Woolrich. Additional shipping instructions, handled with care. Law. I'd like to fold these in half. 6890, 3 Mark 7 cranial protectors. 7 sets of protective clothing with safety harness, Aramid ballistics. 6887, 2 cases of lemon slap, 10 Spaces Choice sabers. 6875, 25 cases of blasting agent, 3 boxes of dark matter bars. 6874, 4 cases of nanospank. I ask you, Benton, who would steal nanospank, let alone pictures of Spectral Woolrich? If the thief wasn't skimming from Cedric Kincannon, of all people, I'd figure they were doing it for kicks and giggles. All right, so there's an episode of The Avengers. Let's return to root. Exit the conversation. So there is a conversation, there's an episode of The Avengers which I think is relevant to this situation. And, one moment. Just take all of her stuff. Like, all of it. Why would we do that? Why wouldn't we do that? Now let's stand up and save and then have a chat with her. I had 2 things I wanted to tell you, didn't I? Hey, Hawkeye and Rebecca. Hello, hello, you both. We still had the paper tape when I was in the AF. Did you really? Oh, we still had punch cards around. I just was never in the position to use them. They were just like, but they were being used as scratch paper at the time. He never thinks about checking if any outfits give bonuses to skills and change them into before he checks. Then change it. I really need to do that. I suspect there are episodes of The Avengers you think are relevant to most situations. Maybe that's true. But you reminded me that I should probably change my clothing. See, like, here's why I save all my clothing, because it can be relevant. What do I have? I've kept the cool hats, so this is going to be determination, which I think is good for my friends. This is headshot damage, so I should probably use that if we're going to shoot people. Maybe I should just wear this, generally speaking. Maybe I should wear this helmet. It's not as much armor, but it gives me some bonuses. This is like science whatever. Defense skills, I never defend myself anyway. That's the hack +7. That's good. That's medium hack +7. That's a 66. What am I wearing? I'm wearing something that is great. Medical, which I probably don't need. Inspiration, looks good. I never defend myself anyway. Hacking, defense skills, that's bad. I need to find out if any of my colleagues need those things, give it to them or sell it. Medical, stealth skills. That is nice. And the stealth skills are a lot of things that I like. It is heavy, though. I wonder what the difference is between heavy, medium, and light, besides probably how much it weighs, right? I mean, I assume that's... No, this only weighs 1. That's heavy, it only weighs 1. I don't know. Anyway, let's chat with this person. Why don't we?
You're the inspector, aren't you?
I am.
Cannon said you'd be by about the cargo that's been going missing. Gosh, this is so neat. A real-life inspector. What's that like? Have you solved any mysteries yet? Ever had to shoot a suspect?
Wait, you're getting married, Rebecca? Congratulations! I wish I had a wedding song for you. I don't have one, but congratulations on getting, I'm going to be, oh, that reminds me, I need to go and get my officiant's license, because I'm going to be officiating a wedding in September, and I should probably also buy my plane ticket and also say yes to the invitation, reminding myself to do that. Reminders. I need to do the wedding stuff. And that's, the reason I haven't done the wedding stuff yet is because somebody might be letting me stay at their place. Plane tickets, officiant, and RSVP. Okay, good. One of my uncle's first jobs was essentially as a punch card courier, bringing the cards to the payroll services company from their numerous clients. Time of gifts, this reminds me of something else. Heavy stuff. I know, that's weird, right? Hey, all trooper, how goes the outer world? It goes really well, Artie. Artie, I just want to let you know that you're awesome, and I'm giving you a hug. They asked me, total surprise. Oh, that's wonderful. It was not a Tar King episode. It was not. Oh, thank you for adding the reminder of the bunker. So there was an Avengers episode that I feel like is relevant, and it was Death at Bargain Prices. So in Death at Bargain Prices, there was we should do a watch night and watch some Avengers. There was a department store where things were randomly going missing at night. Somebody was stealing things randomly from the department store. Some cheese, a very, very sort of like obscure candied honeybee, these various things. And Mrs. Peel goes undercover. She works at the department store. And she ends up talking to the department, the store detective, who like also knows the weirds. So here's the point. The point is, this is why it might be relevant, that the store bad guys were running the store, obviously, and they had kidnapped a nuclear scientist, which also, by the way, deals with punch cards, because there was an agent that was found dead, and he had a receipt from this department store. This is how the Avengers got clued in that something weird was going on. One of their agents was found dead in an alley somewhere, and he had a receipt to this department store. And they're like, oh, but so they infiltrate the department store. He was murdered. And it turns out, the receipt was a punch card, boo, 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 and they had kidnapped a nuclear scientist and had him, they were keeping him, holding him captive in like a secret floor basement of the department store, and they were forcing him to make a nuclear weapon. And the punch cards, they were using the store receipts as the punch card base. And he liked the honeyed candies, and so basically food was being stolen so that he could eat food that he liked while he was, being forced to make a nuclear bomb for the bad guys, who were industrialists and capitalists, by the way, who wanted to bring back old England. The show, actually, I thought the show is a mixed bag, right? Because there's some things about the show you're like, ooh, that's sketchy, oof. But there are some things about the show that I thought were really, like, had some good politics, too. So it's a mixed bag. Rebecca, thank you. Trooper, I have an interesting note to tell you about old school TTRPGs when you get a chance. Tell me. But before you tell me, I told you about the thing. I told about the Avengers. I told you there was one other thing I wanted to tell you about. We talked about how I want to change the character sheet for Roll20 to make it a lot more practical, which will make it easier for the players. And then, oh, I know what it was. Poverty. Wait, what? Have you ever shot someone?
Well, yeah, but they weren't suspects. Right, so the missing cargo. How can I help your investigation?
Any idea why someone would want to bug Cedric's office?
Maybe they're keen on cashing out and want to go as painfully as possible. I don't know. Boss Kincannon's office is where he holds most of his meetings with important folks like Miss Helen. Just about all negotiations happen in his office too. Fair pricing, major purchase orders, rentals for construction projects, you name it.
Interesting. By the way, I will say this about the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds does people... I don't care what anybody else has to say about the Outer Worlds. You can say a lot of things, right? But my personal opinion is the graphics for doing human beings is so good in this game. I would like to point out that you can see that her skin has texture. This is one of the best games when it comes to hair that I've ever seen. Like, the hair is so good. So many games cannot do black hair. They just can't do people. They don't do people. This person's got freckles. You can actually see how her hair is growing out, right? Because she's like clearly sort of shaved her hair. She shaved the sides of her head and it's growing out some. It also looks like she dyed her hair. She bleached it a little bit blonder. Her actual hair color is a little bit lighter, a little bit darker. The detail, like, it looks so good. It looks so good, and I'm always continuously impressed with how good people look in this game when they don't look this good in a lot of other games. Who has access to the cargo?
Everyone here at Freight Storage and Processing, for a start. Thing is, the cargo is going missing before the shipments even get to the warehouse. Best I can figure, it's probably getting lost in the shipping yard. As for who has access there, Benton Chan, he's the shipping yard manager, he told me it's mainly just the loading automechs that handle cargo.
Maybe there's a problem with the automechs?
Could be. Those things will break if you so much as look at them funny.
But I don't think that's what it is. I think there's a...
Benton's area, but don't bother asking him for help.
Why not?
Last time I asked him to check the automechs, the whole head told me he couldn't help because he was dead.
Wait. Is he dead?
Brain dead, maybe. But no. My point is that if you think the automechs are a lead, you'll have to check on them yourself.
Okay.
Hopefully, you're mechanically inclined.
I am. So what's the culprit been stealing?
That's the weird part. There's no pattern, far as I can tell. The thefts don't make sense. I ask you, who would steal a handful of Spacer's Choice Sabers, so dull they can barely cut mud, but leave the spectrum black? Ugh. Who'd be desperate enough to want to steal a Spacer's Choice Saber, full stop?
Sounds like our perp's not fencing the stolen goods.
Yeah, probably not. No one's dumb enough to think Spacer's Choice Sabers are worth half a damn. Then there's the most recent theft. 5 boxes of pens and a couple of sodas. I can't decide which one's sadder.
I'm telling you. Oh, hey, Trooper. Those letter writers you liked aren't dead because she's one of... This is good, they're not dead. Let me see. I see what you mean about there not being a pattern. It's both. Both are sadder. Maybe our purpose desperately low on ink, so our purpose, Maybe our purpose desperately low on ink.
I wish they hadn't stolen the blue pens. We can never keep enough of those in stock.
That's enough for now.
Oh, before I forget, I figured you might want to access my terminal, so I had a spare keycard made. It's all yours.
Anything on there I should know about?
Oh no, I forgot to delete all of those incriminating messages I sent about which cargo to steal. Nah, I do have a list of cargo that's gone missing though, if that helps any.
Thank you. You're delightful. I also broke into your computer already. Titus Androidicus. Ooh, that sounds... Ooh, excuse me for one moment. A new original masterpiece from the director of Agent Khan and the Island of Murder, Titus Andronicus. With Burbage 2000 and Burbage 3000, Blood and Revenge are hammering in his head. That sounds like a great serial, and I would love to go and watch it. But, you know... What am I wearing? I'm also out of food again. Apparently, you just have to eat all the time. I don't even know what that's about. Let me grab some sort of food material and see what's happening in chat. Oh, I want to talk about poverty. Sword and Wizardry. Okay, we're here. That's great. I don't think there's anything new we have to check out over there. I think we just get our... Why do you have a sniper rifle? We're going to come over here to the place we don't have access, authorized access, and then we're going to save. And then I'm going to see what people are talking about in chat. Because poverty. I want to talk about poverty for a moment. It's related to our conversation. Sword and Wizardry, one of the older of the OSR games, came out with a new edition and changed all the word race to ancestry, and now also has the same thing Old School Essentials brought in, giving folks the option of ascending AC as well as THACO. Oh, interesting. Sort of coming back into like the present day. Sithel says, like black hair. So I'm glad when they can do so in games. But I find there's often a lot of colors of hair that games have issues with. Often having very unnatural looking hair colors and not enough natural ones. Yeah. I totally see that, Sithel. Curlin says, I think you might have meant black hair as in the hair of people of African descent and not black hair the color. Yes, that is what I meant. Yeah, that is true too. Curlin says, it's about you blatantly ignoring the advice I gave you like a year ago. Oh. Yes, I remember that advice. I did it once, and I figured it was probably not bad, because if I play a game where the people have to eat all the time, then I remember that I have to eat all the time. Time of Gift says, list of cargo that's gone missing in our hero's hands. Thinks, me. How did I miss that? Maybe, a suspect. Okay, so here's what I was thinking about poverty. The thing about poverty is I think that people do not understand all the things that go into what happens when you don't have money. And an example was what we were just talking about. I did not have a computer. My family could not afford a computer because we were poor and computers were very expensive in the 80s. I typed all my stuff on a typewriter because my dad was a writer, so he had a typewriter. But I was really interested in computers and I had some facility for it. I had some skill in it, but I could only use the computer when I was in the library. I would go to like the public library or the school library. But hacking into computer programs and then printing them out and finding out what they said was not really something I like. A lot of things that I did on the computer, like breaking into programs, like cracking programs so I could read what was going on, was not particularly well thought upon. So I had to be a little bit careful doing it. But also in the public computers, which is what, like, during the school year, during the summer, I would go to the public library. I would go down to the main library in San Francisco. It was beautiful. I took the bus by myself all the way downtown to get to the public library. It was like an hour ride because I was, a kid and my parents let me do that. I was a high school student, right? And as a high school student, my parents were fine with me taking, okay, I know exactly where we are. This was the one place we did not yet, check out. And I believe that means all we need to do is, go back up to the top floor. We did a lot. We did a lot. So like, and if you went to the public library, there was a time limit on how long you could be on the computer because they only had like 2 computers in the public library, and they did not want some person like me sitting on the computer for like 6 hours, and so you had like a 1 hour time limit on the computer. Now the reason why I went to the main library, I would go to like branch libraries or main libraries. The main library was the one that actually had the computers. Some of the branch ones didn't have computers yet, but I would go to the main library and I'd pick one of those computers, and usually there were 2 of them. Usually there were not any people who were like, I could usually get multiple hours on the computer because there wasn't a lot of people in line. But like, if somebody was in line, I had to go and I couldn't be on the computer any longer. And in the school computer lab, I couldn't always be there either. So it was just one of those things where I couldn't always, like, if my family had more money than they had, which by the way, we also didn't have a car. Because we could not afford a car when I was growing up either. So I had to take a bus everywhere. And so there's just a lot of things that, because I didn't have money, I couldn't do those things. And if my family had more money, or had somehow access, right, I could have had a computer in the home starting in like 1981, 1982. And then I could have I might have been like some wacky Seamus Young computer genius right now. But I was only able to really get into computer programming later in my life, right? When, I did not actually own a computer until I was 29 years old. And that was my last year of undergraduate. And I took out a student loan. I got a student loan. No, I didn't get a student loan. I remember what happened. Sorry. I was undergraduate. I was 29 at this time. It was my senior year of undergrad. And a very good friend of mine who I do need to message and say hi to, excuse me. Say hi to my friend. I don't know where I would be without my friend right now. Say hi. I was a senior in undergrad, right? 29 years old. And she turns to me and she says, "Do you have a credit card?" And I said, "Absolutely not. Credit cards are bad. You should never buy anything unless you have the money to buy it. Like, only buy things for cash. That's the way of the world. Cash only." And she said to me, "Oh, no, my friend. This means you do not have a credit rating and you are 29 and you need one." And I was like, "No." So anyway, she convinced me to get a credit card because she said that I would need one. And she was right, by the way. If it weren't for her, the older you get, the harder it is for you not to have a credit rating, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I got a credit card because she told me that I should get one. And she said, it'll be very difficult for you to get a credit card once you leave undergraduate because predatory credit card companies really love to give undergraduates credit cards because they think they will be unwise with them and they'll make a lot of money. So I got a credit card my senior year of undergrad, and then I went and And then I went and bought a MacBook. It was my very first. Computer, and I got it. I put it on my credit card, and then I paid it off. Right, I think with student loan money actually in the end. But people said that you have to have a.
Inspector, this loading automechanical's programming does not match factory default settings. The standard defensive protocol has been modified to include an additional trigger.
Define standard defensive protocol.
319 cargo transport automechanicals. Defensive protocol is triggered by attempted interference with cargo, or its transportation, or attempted destruction of the unit. Once triggered, defensive protocol targets the perpetrator and applies lethal force until the target has been deceased for a minimum of 3 minutes.
Let's identify this new trigger.
There is a directive in place to initiate defensive protocol should an unsanctioned data log installed in this automechanical's automechanical be removed.
Let's scan for signs of unusual behavior.
Slug automechanical maintenance records indicate this particular unit is frequently reported as out of position or missing for periods of time.
Let's have a look inside this automech. So this is a hacked automechanical. How am I doing in terms of hacking? My hacking should be pretty decent, right? My hacking is 100, but I'm a little worried that I might need more hacking skills. So let me... hacking is stealth. Let me just go put my bonus stealth clothing on, because I'm a little concerned that I might need it. And we had a... Was it here? It was our... because Krellin pointed out that of a +7 hack. So let's just wear this armor. That one right there. Which... Oh... Yeah, that gives me all sorts of tech skills. They said I needed tech skills, though, didn't they? So I believe we won't wear this armor, because this armor... Let's wear our hat. We have a hat. Science? I don't know what we're going to need, so we're going to check it out.
Loading automechanical unit K-14 is fully operational at 99% power. Please designate the cargo to be transported and its destination. How can this automechanical assist you?
Okay. I'd like to leave, because I don't have lockpick at 105.
Access panel is now unlocked.
I wish I had, view the most recently added data log.
Detecting data log 17C. Alert. Failsafe protocol triggered. Kill
Wait.
mode initiated.
No, wait, I have questions.
Understood. This unit is programmed to facilitate user queries. Kill mode pause. User termination to follow.
No, what's on the dialogue?
Data log contains instructions to move cargo shipment 6, 8,
We're in trouble.
7, 5 outside the boundaries of the shipping yard. It also contains instructions to move randomized cargo shipments outside the boundaries of the shipping yard at intervals of 1 to 4 days.
What was in shipment 78, 68, 75?
Apologies. This unit does not have access to cargo inventory lists.
Oh, okay, well, we're gonna have a fight. I'm gonna read chat before this fight happens. Baritro, we were lucky that we always got used stuff. Yeah, learned to type on a used IBM electric typewriter my mom bought. I got given a Commodore 64 from my uncle. I always had a non-electric typewriter. Carl says, I grew up rich, so I had a Tandy, because Tandy PCs had superior graphics to the competitors at the time. Oh, neat. Sithil says, I've made it a thing to remember every time I spend money. I also think of how it would be not to have that money. Yeah, I think about that too. Cars are one of the big costs to access that people don't think of. Not just the car itself, but the maintenance and gas. Yeah, if you don't... Because cars are also time, right? Like I was thinking about those neighborhoods that are food deserts where they don't have any grocery stores in those neighborhoods. And if you want to get... They'd have like maybe little bodegas you can get crappy food. But if you want to get fresh vegetables and you don't have a car and there are no vegetables, no grocery stores in your neighborhood, you're going to have to take a bus. You're going to have to take a bus to wherever that neighborhood is that has a grocery store, buy everything, and then haul all that stuff back out yourself and then go all the way back. And that could take like 2 hours. And do you have 2 hours to go through that whole, like, I mean, for me, where I grew up, to get anywhere on a bus was an hour, right? One way, an hour, one way back. So you're looking at maybe 2 to 3 hours. Do you have that time to do that? Because as they say, time is money, and it's true, right? Like, to think about all that. And there are all these things you just can't do if you don't have that. Volpa says, my first computer other than a T1 Ti growing up wasn't until the mid-90s, and it was a deal. My father started working with a cousin who bought damaged machines from Best Buy and cannibalized them and making working ones. Yeah, and you think about all the ways in which people who don't have that kind of money are able to sort of like cobble together things. Hip-hop. Sithil says to Artie, there's a reason why I've never been interested in getting a car, but I also live in part of the world where you can do without a car. Yeah. Time of Gift says, history quiz. Who said, clearly was speaking German, necessity knows no argument. We must hack our way through. Oh, I don't know. And insurance, yeah. And if it's 90 degrees out, will your groceries still be okay when you get home, especially with stuff like milk? Absolutely, absolutely. I suppose we're going to have a fight now.
Re-engaged.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
Thanks. I need to get a weapon out that is maybe a better one. Oh gosh. Also, I need this. Yeah, sure, here we go. Because I clearly need food. Hi, how you doing? Somebody use your powers. Somebody use your abilities. All my friends are dying. Oh, oh gosh. Excuse me. Hi, how you doing? I'm being attacked everywhere and my friends are dead. This is bad. Oh gosh, excuse me for a moment. Hi. This is not the best. Oh gosh. I don't think I was ready for that fight. I thought I was ready for that fight, but I don't think I was. I need that. Hi. Oh gosh. We're gonna do that again, is what we're gonna do. We're gonna just do that again. And we're going to think about the fact that that's happening is what we're going to do. Yeah, more death. We're gonna do that again. Josh says, I've lived in a city that is a car-centric and hot fast food was cheaper than groceries on my limited budget. Yeah. Or you skip meals. I remember how shocked my colleagues were that it took me 2.5 hours on the bus to travel one way to and from school. Absolutely. And I think people don't realize what it means to like be under eating. Like you're getting enough food to be able to like survive, but then you're not going to be, your concentration won't be as good. Like all these things I think people just don't think about, you know? Oh, Artie, I should have used the time freezing thing. I forgot about it. Yeah. We're going to use the time freezing thingy because we're good at that. And we're going to have our friends use their powers, but also we're going to get our, was it hacking that we need to get up? And then maybe engineering? Want to get some things to 105. I don't know if we can get engineering to 105, but I was 3 hours east way, 2 transfers, SoCal, and you? Yeah, Josh, yeah, where were you? Lockpicking, thank you, Artie. Chancellor von Bettman Holweg on the decision to advance through Belgium at the start of World War I. Oh, wow. Oh, hey. Oh, here we go. Excuse me. The problem is... Oh, hi. We're having a fight with everybody. I want them to use all of their powers, like, right now. So this is not just a fight with this one automatic cannon. It's a fight with all of them. I really should be using my pistol, to be honest, because I think I'm... Oh, you know what I can do? This.
Someone else will clean this up, right?
That was way better, by the way. Oh, I think Sublight's mad at me. Well, wasn't my fault. I was attacked by, like, this robot. You know what I mean? Like, what am I supposed to do about that? It's just how that is. On the plus side, that went way better. I think being prepared for it helped. Also, we should probably repair all of our stuff since, you know, it was bad. We did that. I believe we should probably check our journal. Return to Cedric and inform that you solved Slug's skimming problem. Okay. We also have to speak with Spencer Woolrich. That's true. I feel like it's some weird Spencer Woolrich stan. We've got to go to the meeting spot. I don't exactly know where that is. We've got to find the Prophet of Profitability. And we've got to go with botanical operations. Okay. So let's report in, shall we? Yeah. Anyway, I think what my point is that I wanted to get there is that I think people don't realize all the impacts of. Somebody said, what is it, like that being poor is expensive, right? That like being poor is expensive because you can't afford the better stuff. So you have to, like, it was the whole thing about like shoes, right? There's that whole thing about shoes, how if you have money, you can buy a really expensive pair of shoes that will last you for a really long time. But if you're poor, you cannot afford those expensive shoes. So you have to buy shoes that are just cheaper, and those shoes don't last as long. So you end up having to buy them more often. So you end up spending more money on shoes than somebody who would be rich enough to be able to justify, you know that people buy like $500 pairs of shoes? Could you even imagine?
Inspector,
I
to what
couldn't.
do I owe the pleasure?
Like, I always buy, my family would go to Payless and we'd buy like shoes that were like $20. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you'd buy $20 shoes. The idea of spending like over $50 for a pair of shoes still makes me nervous, right? I finally, when I broke down for when I got tenure, I was hanging out with a colleague of mine, and we were hanging out, and we went into a Fluvogs, and there was this really cool pair of shoes. And she's like, "You should buy those shoes. Like, those shoes cost $100. I cannot buy those shoes." And she's like, "Those are very good shoes that will last you for years. They're better for your feet. You should buy them." And I was like, "Ah!" So I did. I bought them, and they lasted me for like multiple years. And then I was able to resole them because they were actually good quality shoes. And I've had them. I had to get a new pair of shoes, but like I got tenure 6 years ago. 7, 8 years ago, in 2008 years ago, right? So I have bought 2 pair of Fluvogs in 8 years. Back before, when I was buying Payless shoes, where I'd go to the Payless shoes, I'd buy a black pair of shoes. They would not last me. They would last me like a year, maybe 2. You know what I mean? So like, I think that people really don't think about all the ways in which being poor costs money. Right? Also just in time. Chancellor von, U of Arizona. That was way better. Time to go ask that lady about the contents of that one shipment. Yes. I've lived 30 minutes drive from school, but the buses have never been good in Tucson. Tucson. Chris says, I was living at home in a suburb, busing to La Jolla and back 5 days a week. You adapt, but yeah.
Ooh, I love this part. The big reveal. So tell me, what happened?
You've got a serious security problem.
What makes you say that?
Somebody bypassed the loading mech security system and rewired them to skim random goods.
Damn, you're good.
I know.
Hacking the automex. So that was our skimmer's game.
Well.
Why? Everything that was stolen has seemed random. I certainly see no pattern.
The theft was random, except for a single shipment.
So, our culprit had something specific to acquire, and used the random theft as a smokescreen. I must say, Inspector, you've done excellent work on this case.
Thank you.
And that just leaves how the culprit knew where their true target would be, or indeed, that slug would soon possess it.
Yes. Check your pocket.
Okay, that's very impressive.
Thank you.
Don't ever touch me again.
Fair.
Am I
Fair.
right to think what you found in my office earlier was the other half of this listening device?
Sure was. We'll just say they could hear everything you said in here.
She, Inspector. She could hear everything.
Care to loop me in here?
The bug belongs to me, Inspector. I lent it to Halcyon Helen to assist her with role research.
And she used it to research slug shipments instead.
Unbelievable. I helped her. Gave her whatever she needed. I thought we were doing each other a good turn.
I doubt it was personal.
This is a betrayal, Inspector. I do not take betrayal lightly. Helen should consider herself very lucky indeed that she is already among the dead, and that some other bastard beat me to putting her in the ground.
Dangerous talk for a man under investigation for Helen's murder.
Halcyon Helen is already dead.
I know.
If I'd known Helen was stealing from me, I may very well have killed her, or had her killed. Alas, I did not.
I suppose not.
Again, I appreciate your assistance with this matter, and with the larger mystery at hand. I wish you luck with your investigation, though I doubt you'll need it. You'll find Helen's murderer. I'm confident of that. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must find a way to excise my anger that minimally damages my business empire. I expect it will involve shooting quite a lot of guns.
Yes. I need to find out which one was the... Hey, what's that gun like? Well, I won't steal it, although I would really like to. What's in the Dissident? Ooh. Halcyon Helen commits regicide. Some hours had passed since Halcyon's... Oh, hold on. I'm going to read chat, but also read this, but with my megaphone. Artie says, yeah, I was having this conversation the other day in a different Twitch channel about the different costs of healthcare, specifically the cost of using an ambulance, as healthcare can be another big area where money has a big impact, especially in the US. Oh, absolutely. Also, preventative care. Can you afford to do preventative care? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think about the fact that in the US, very often, dental and optical are not covered under health insurance. They're separate insurances. So if you don't have money, you may not be able to afford to go and get regular dental checkups, regular dental cleanups, which means when you go to the dentist, it's because you need massive cavities, right, filled or whatnot, which is going to be way more expensive than if you'd been able to just go and get regular dental checkups. Right? There are all these ways in which if you don't have money, because of how insurance works and all this stuff, it can be just so much more, like, because you don't have money, it can be more expensive later on, right? During COVID, says Josh, I will say they have made shuttle service free, which has helped family to get to a point. Oh, that's really good. Buy one, get 20 for buy one for 20, get one free. The poverty mindset stays well after you have money. Right? Josh, what you said is really important. And this is something I think people also don't quite understand, that if you grow, like, there are cultural things that are attached to class. People think that class is money, right? But class isn't just money. Class is also like cultural backgrounds, right? If you grow up with huge amount, like if you're a noble and you're super rich and you grew up with money, because you're an aristocrat or whatever, and then you lose that money, you still grew up an aristocrat. You know all sorts of things that people who did not have money did not know, right? Like it's one of those reasons why people who are rich who lose money often get that money back, but people who are poor who gain money often lose that money, because there are all these other kinds of soft skills and connections and things that you learn that you wouldn't know. Like, I did not know that I needed a credit card. If I had not gotten that credit card when I still could at decent, easily, because a friend told me about it, I would be screwed over right now. I'd have a hard time getting an apartment. I'd have a hard time getting anything, right? And there are all these little things that you know or don't know, right? But at the same time, I know about coupon cutting. I also know certain things because I didn't grow up inside of the system in the same way that people who do grow up inside the system don't know. That's hard for me to describe. But so, for example, when I transitioned, I found the ways to be able to start my transition on what's called the gray market. I went to a doctor, right? But it was a doctor who did not follow the Harry Benjamin standards of care, which I thought were offensive. But the Harry Benjamin standards of care are really expensive. You have to spend like a year in psychiatric therapy weekly, which is very expensive and not covered by insurance. You have to, like, there's all these things you have to do which cost lots and lots of money. And I was like, absolutely not. So I found ways around that. And I found ways around it, and I did my thing. And now I know people who did not grow up poor. They're like, oh no, politicians are threatening to make it so that you can't get tea with insurance. What will we ever do? And I was like, oh, well, there are ways around that, my friend. Like, you can find ways around that. But if you've only had everything covered by insurance, you've never had to find alternate ways to find things. I know how to find alternate ways to find things, but some people who grew up never having to worry about that don't know how to, you know what I mean? So there are different things that you gain depending on where you're at. I also think about, for example, I know people, when I went to college, a small liberal arts college was pretty expensive because they had great financial aid, so I didn't have to pay much. But people were like, oh, I wonder how I can get to like Berkeley. And I was like, oh, you just take the bus. And they're like, oh, the bus. I could never take the bus. The bus is dangerous. And I was like, the bus is fine. You just get on, like, people who who did not know how to take the bus. And the bus scared them because it was scary and frightening. And I was like, okay, look, the bus is fine, right? So there's these cultural things that are attached to your wealth level, so that even when your wealth level changes, those cultural things often remain, or they take a while to change. Like, you have to be very deliberate about doing that. You may not know that there's a thing to change. You know what I mean? By the way, B-Rod, I'm going to sing for you. Rissa says, I'm almost used to spending $100 for shoes, but $500 is nearly half my rent. Right? Like, can you imagine? Oh, Drummer Boy says, I got a nice pair of shoes once because they were marked down 30% and was still a little above my comfy price. See, there are people here who know what I'm talking about. Silva says, there's an old saying in Sweden, we cannot afford cheap stuff. Paraphrase. Yeah, right. That's the thing. That's the thing. Volpa says, yeah, people don't realize how much men's shoes are. And yes, it's usually worth spending the money on shoes. Men's shoes are so expensive. Yeah. But if you have really good shoes, then you can like resole them and like they can last a long time if you take care of them. The good leather shoe that like, and what, you know, I find that one of the big differences is that like when I would buy those cheap shoes, like I really wear out the heels of my shoes really badly, and really cheap shoes, you can't replace the heel. But like with a good pair of shoes, you can get the shoe rehealed. And then the upper and the lower, basically, are stitched together rather than just a cheap glue. So they'll just last a lot longer, and they're better for your feet. Josh says, where I have lived with friends and family, we always have a community pool for food staples. So the one person who can buy milk and everyone else can use if needed, like ramen or sandwiches. Yeah, right. And that's about a community. See, Josh, you're talking about a kind of like a community mindset about like, how do we help each other out? And that's also something that, so for example, I grew up in a city. And because I grew up in a city, there were a lot of people densely packed around each other, and you're in a neighborhood with other people. So if somebody in the neighborhood needs, like, I don't know how many times my neighbors watched me as a kid. Like when my mom was working or whatever, we would have neighbors, like the Rosenfeld sisters were these 3 sisters who were like, they'd lived through the 1906 earthquake. They were that old. And one of the Rosenfeld sisters would play ragtime on the piano because she was kind of like a firebrand as a kid, right? But they were like in their 90s, maybe. They were not young. Anyhow, they would like watch us, like just do like kind of like we would like hang out. They would watch us because when my mom couldn't do it or my dad, and the neighborhood would like take care of each other. But if you live in a place where everything is really spread out, like maybe a suburb. And when I lived in like really, really rural spaces, I lived in a super rural space, same thing. People there would really take care of each other and help each other out as well. Like somebody shot some food, we would share the food. Like when we had to kill our goats, we did a goat roast, and everybody in that rural space would come together for the goat roast together and bring stuff. And there was a lot of like communal sharing of stuff. But if that's not your mindset, you're not going to think about that or know about it. You know what I mean? Time of Gift says, I love that Halcyon Helen movie poster had a Spencer X and a Bellamy as named actors. Yeah. Artie says, yeah, in the US, I think it was like 1,200 or something, whereas in Canada it's 45. Oh, ooh. Sounds like gatekeeping via cost. I don't think it's gatekeeping. I do not think that they're maliciously intending to gatekeep. I don't think it's, I mean, look, there are some times when that's actually absolutely what they were doing. I was just watching a really good video by Elijah Miller about redlining, where they actually are very deliberately doing that. But I think sometimes it's not deliberate gatekeeping in terms of maliciousness, like where they're like, we're going to keep you out. I think it's lack of care. Do you know what I mean? If that makes any sense? Which might be worse. Like, 'cause if somebody's malicious and consciously doing it on purpose, then maybe you can convince them not to. But if somebody doesn't even see the world that way, they don't even think about it, it doesn't even occur to them, then it might be harder. Maybe not, I don't know. Think about it. Rissa says, I spent so much time sleeping on buses in the 90s. Oh, yeah. You can learn to wake up just in time to change your direction. I remember that one. And then when you forget because you're underslept because you've been working so hard and you wake up at the end of the bus line, awkward. Artie says, in regards to the cost following this suggests, yes, that is gatekeeping. That is 100% gatekeeping. But it wasn't just via cost. It was just like that whole thing was gatekeeping up and down the line. There's a lot of gatekeeping in the old system. people complain now that the new system's too easy, but the old system was really bad. And it was also dangerous, right? It was also weird. Like, they would not let you transition if you would be queer after your transition, right? So if you were, for example, you were assigned male at birth and you were attracted to women, they wouldn't let you transition because then you would be a lesbian. If you were assigned female at birth and you were attracted to men, they would not let you transition because then you would be gay after your transition. And they just were not going to let you transition if you would be gay. They would not let you transition unless you were gender conforming, right? So you couldn't be a butch trans woman or like a drag queen trans man. They just wouldn't let you transition at all. They also said, for example, that if you transitioned back, this was a little bit before my time, but one of the things is they said that if you transition, you have to cut ties with everybody in your life, or else like you won't be successful. So you couldn't maintain a relationship with your friends or your family. Anybody that you knew pre-transition, they just, if you gave any indication that you wanted to keep those relationships up, they wouldn't let you transition. And you had to get 2 different letters. Like, you had to get letters from like a psychologist and a psychiatrist. You had to do what was called the real life test, which meant that you had to live in as your true self for a year before they would let you have any kind of medical intervention, which means in our society, with how terrible it is, if you were assigned male at birth, you had to live full-time as a woman, dressed, makeup, all that, without any transition medical help, which means no hormones, no. So basically, you were going to look very obviously like what people think was a man in a dress. And in the 50s, 60s, 70s, people would just might kill you, right? So in order to get this care that you need so that you could pass and live your life, you have to live for a year without passing before you can do anything. And that could just get you killed. Meanwhile, if you are cisgendered and you want to get a boob job, you can just do that without asking anybody. If you want to get a nose job, you can just do that without asking anybody. If you want to go and if you want to go get plastic surgery to look like Elvis Presley, which people have done, no problem whatsoever. You don't have to do anything about that at all. So absolutely, was it gatekeeping? Yes. Was it via cost? Yes. Was it via other things? Also yes. It was wild. It was wild what they did back then. And that wasn't even that long ago. It was like during my lifetime. I'm like at that moment, like I'm from that moment where it was beginning to shift, right? There was like a little bit of both going on. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So terrible. Chromatic says, this year has been the year of getting expensive shoes. I need an all-weather walking shoe, and now I got summer walking shoes to help with my back and hip pain. It's been worth it. Where that's the thing, because I did not realize how much my back was being messed up by wearing cheap shoes. Like, because my back was being messed up, and I would have to go to the chiropractor. Do you mean like these are these little things we don't, or like a good office chair, all these things that like you don't think about in terms of cost. You do something every day for 4 years, it burns into your DNA. Mm-hmm. Drummer Boy says, that's also dependent on where you're at in Canada. When my nephew was born there, was born, there were some issues, so they needed to transfer to a larger hospital, and the ambulance charge was a couple $100. Prairies, oh yeah. Shoes seem a lot cheaper compared to proper eyeglasses. Oh my gosh, Volus, eyeglasses are so expensive. They're so expensive. I don't even want to talk about how expensive eyeglasses are. Speaking of eyeglasses, I was just reading something really interesting that said one of the biggest things that helped productivity in the medieval Renaissance era, was the invention of eyeglasses. Because you would have these people who are like scribes, right? Because you have like no printing presses yet. So you have people who, all this like really important detail work, especially with scribing. Once they started losing their eyesight, they couldn't do that work anymore. And then the invention of eyeglasses basically and not everybody could learn to be a scribe. That was like really hard work, and you had to be educated, and a lot of people couldn't even read, blah, 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 blah. So there were all these things in certain sort of crafts work, right? That the invention of eyeglasses allowed people to continue working in their jobs for many more years, which was one of these really important things for increasing knowledge, because people who had knowledge then could continue to pass it on and continue to perfect their crafts. And so apparently the thinking about how important eyeglasses were, basically the article was saying that the invention of the eyeglass was one of the things that helped us transition from the medieval era to the Renaissance era. Right, it was like that. So the big renaissance of technology and all that stuff, part of it has to do with eyeglasses. And so thinking about now how there are these people who could really benefit from eyeglasses, and the entire society could benefit from them having eyeglasses, but they can't afford eyeglasses. Think about that. Like, they got us into the Renaissance, and now we're pricing people out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Artie says, yeah, the 45 was Ontario as long as you're a resident and without healthcare. Rissa says, my glasses are so freaking expensive these days, but those I can't live without. I actually think I've got to go to the optometrist and get my eyes checked, because while I don't think my distance prescription has changed, the optometrist said to me that sooner or later I'm going to need bifocals. And she said I should get these cheap reading glasses, which I did. So I've got cheap reading glasses that I almost never use, but I think I've got to use them now for reading. So I might need to get bifocals, but that's so expensive, so I might hold off as long as I can. I got these like super cheap, so here I am talking like a poor person. Yeah. Volpa says, in glass they're nothing but a pure scam. Frames cost more than $50 at the store, right? I know. Blue Porter says, so scary. Rissa says, unless you're a premenopausal woman that wants to hysterectomy, cyst or not. Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah. One of my very good friends of mine was 25 and she wanted a hysterectomy, and the doctor was like, no, wouldn't give her one. She's like, I want a hysterectomy. And he's like, no. And she could not. She went to multiple doctors and nobody would give her a hysterectomy, even though she's like, this is what I want for my body. And they're like, absolutely not. And once she got married, they're like, well, what would your husband say? Will he give you permission to get, like, it was wild. It was wild. Artie says, if it is something that a rich white person might want, then it will be more likely to be available. That has to do with vaccines. Volpus says, plastic surgery, but God forbid a woman needs hysterectomy. Husband has to say, okay, still. Can you imagine? It's wild. It's wild. And glass technically do not have to be expensive, right? They don't have to be expensive. Artie says, glass just gets melted sand. Sand is very common. It's very reductive, but yes. Now, I think the expensive part is being able to, like, shape some of those things, but, like, their glasses cost, like, $700. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's up? You can get them cheaper, but Rissa says, the main cost for my glasses is that they are polycarbonate trizone progressives with a prism in the lenses. And it's still that way with hysterectomy. It still is that way, which is... I think it's inappropriate. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what's... Plus the ripoff of the designer frames, yeah. Here's the thing. I really believe in bodily autonomy. I've got tattoos, right? Like, whoop. I've got tattoos. I've got 4 tattoos. And I got them. I wanted them. I got them. The tattoo artist was like, if I'd wanted to get a tattoo on my face, the tattoo artist would have been like, ooh, hey, do you know what that's about? And some of them would have been like, I don't want to do that. Some of them like, okay, sure, but, right? I got to make choices about my body. I do believe that people should be able to make choices about their body. And that includes, if you want to get a hysterectomy, you should be able to get a hysterectomy. If you want to get plastic surgery to look like Elvis, you know what? You do you. I don't know if that's a great idea, but if you want to look like Elvis because you're an Elvis impersonator and you think it'll make you a better Elvis impersonator, go ahead. What do I care, right? But we really gatekeep who can and who cannot do things with their body. And that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Vola says, Viagra should only be sold on wives' permission. Hysterectomy should be available in minutes. And yeah, I hear it's actually not that easy for men to get vasectomies either. Oh, I should rephrase that. I hear it's not that easy for people with testes to get vasectomies either. And I know some people who want to be castrated, and they cannot get that done. People will not do it for them. I was just reading an article years ago about this underground, we're talking about castration, underground castration ring where farmers who know how to castrate bulls will castrate men who want to be castrated when doctors won't do it. And, you know, like, let people go and get medical care in, like, good, healthy, safe, clean spaces. Come on. Because it's not great, right? If people have to go to, like, a person who castrates bulls for a living to get castrated. Like, let people get their stuff done. Josh says, I listened to an interesting talk from David Harvey, how he was studying the housing issue in Baltimore in the late 60s. Ooh. At every level, affordable housing was disincentivized, thanks to leveraging. Would love to live in a world where housing was divorced from the capital. Yeah, and Josh is all 100% for body economy. Me too. This is really interesting because I, for no particular reason, have been doing a lot of research on Detroit in the 60s. Dang, yo. Man, no good, no good. And this actually ties into some research I did on Hollywood in the 1950s, Black Hollywood 1950s, for a project I cannot talk about. And I got to tell you, the federal highway system was really bad for minority and poor people because they had to build these highways, right? And they had to figure out where to put the highways. And they just put them like, so there was this black neighborhood in Los Angeles that was where all of the middle class and wealthy black people lived. And they're just like, we're going to put the freeway through this neighborhood, eminent domain, all of people's houses, bulldozed all of them and just put the freeway through. They could put that freeway anywhere, but they didn't. They put it in the one successful black neighborhood in Los Angeles. They did the same thing in Detroit. There was a neighborhood called Black Bottom, and that's where they put the highway. And they do this all the time. They're just like, we're going to eminent, like the ways, and I mean, if those of you who do not know this, but Dodger Stadium was part of a Latino community. Originally, the land, Chavez Ravine, was a Latino community that they were all homeowners. It was very sort of prosperous and successful. And the city is like, we're taking all of your homes and they're going to build Dodger Stadium there. And there was like, it was a whole big deal. There was like fights and struggles. People wouldn't leave. And sometimes they'll use eminent domain and destroy neighborhoods from people who are marginalized or poor. And like, it's just really awful how, right? So when they did that to Black Bottom in Detroit, all those people had to live somewhere. They had to move somewhere because their neighborhood was destroyed. Where are they going to go? But there's all this restricting housing comes. So anyway, then there was a riot in 1967. Volpez says, I have a good friend who's just in her early 30s with a kid who's having a problem with cysts and is still fighting to get this hysterectomy. They would rather she end up in the hospital every 6 months from cysts. Yeah, like what's wrong with people? Artie says, I like that the last time I went to the optometrist, they gave me a new prescription, but said basically you don't need new glasses. I'm just giving you this in case you want to update them or something happens to your current pair. So that's really good. And I know some people will use some of those online places. Get the script and get your glasses online from Zenny. See, Volpez, you know. Hawkeye says, many doctors are hesitant to do castration that's not for prostate cancer treatment due to, one, it's not reversible, and two, legal suits from patients saying they really shouldn't have done it and want to sue the doc since it can't be undone. See, Hawkeye, I feel like this is how it should go. It's all about informed consent. If you are informed and you consent for an irreversible thing, like if I decide that I do not like this tattoo, I should not be able to sue the tattoo artist. That's ridiculous. Like I knew that getting this tattoo was irreversible. And then I knew it. I knew that there might be risks for getting a tattoo. It could be infected or whatever. And then I agreed to that. If then it happens, I should not be able to sue the tattoo artist. I just think that that's ridiculous. You should not. This is, by the way, the flip side for when I talk about bodily autonomy. Part of that bodily autonomy is also bodily responsibility. Like if you decide you want to do a thing like that, and you know what's going into it, you then don't get to go and sue the doctor who did it because, you know what I mean? Unless if this was malpractice, if there's malpractice, that's one thing. But that's my opinion on that one. I think that's, and I wish people would not do that because it makes it harder on everybody else. Sithel says, yep, those highways sometimes only got approved due to racism. Yep. Artie says, yeah, this is why I hate the term pro-life as it's widely inaccurate. It's really pro-control. The only reason they care is because they want to maintain control over all they can. There's a lot of people want to control people's bodies. I, by the way, have a name game. I have a name game to sing because BP Phantom, Be Right UK just resubbed for 50 months, which is outrageous. And says 50, you say 50 months? What could that mean? Let me check. Be right back. And because of this, I'm going to have to sing the name game. Just for Be Right. Thank you, Be Right. Also, say hey to Be Boodle Floof. The name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name. I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F. On and will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain, then a fee, fi, and a mo. And then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. I like Bob. Bob, drop the B's, Bo, or Fred. Fred, drop the S for red. Or Mary, Mary, drop the M's, Mo, airy. That's the only rule that is contrary. Be right, Bo, E right, banana, fana, fo, fee right, fee, fi, mo, me right. Be right, the name game. Thank you for those 50 months. That's amazing. That's amazing. Hey, Nanoheart, how are you? Welcome in to the Foxhole. We're playing the Outer Worlds. We really are. We've done a lot of stuff. I'm very excited about it. So. Hawkeye says, you don't know how many times I've had patient family members recording clinic visits looking for any reason to sue us, especially one case where the patient's daughter was a lawyer. It makes my wife and I wish we'd never entered healthcare. See, this is Hawkeye. I feel, and look, please correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody out there who is not from the US, please correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this is such a US problem. I feel like we're so sue happy in the United States, and that's no good. Like, you can sue somebody who's a good Samaritan. Like, if you're like dying, you're going to die, then somebody does like mouth to mouth or chest compressions, whatever, and they injure you, you can sue them, but they saved your life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we need to be way less litigious in this country. Like, be litigious when it's, but I mean, like, I just feel like sometimes, and it just messes things up for everybody. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I think we should not be so sue happy. I think it's not cool. I think it's not a very nice way to be. It's not very neighborly. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think it's very neighborly. That's it. I'm going to read this Dissident Queen Chapter 3. Halcyon Helen commits regicide. Some hours had passed since Helen's entry into the dissident hideout. She had fought no small number of slugmen, destroying their abominations in singular fashion, and had met several employees from many corporations, each forcibly taken by the dissidents for use as test subjects. One such freed captive, who had called himself Hephaestus Harry, had accompanied her as she descended into the lair of the dissident queen. Helen had exchanged only a few words with him, and now would be able to exchange no others, as the man now lay in a bloody heap at the foot of the dissident queen, who, Helen now saw, was not a person, but a tremendous mutant slug. The dissidents who had apparently been guarding her were themselves quite dead, and lay in various states of mastication throughout the room. The queen feasted on Harry's remains, but as Helen stepped forward, the monster wriggled round to face her. "A true queen for a gang of parasites!" Helen shouted. The distant queen reared back, opening its mandibles wide, and gave an inhuman shriek that shook the very foundations of the base. Ooh! Sorry, so excited about that one. And I hope, I would love to just rob this whole entire place like 1,000 times over, but we're not gonna do that because we're being watched. So we won't do that. But we have like, what do you call it? No? We have quests. Where are we at quest-wise? So we need to report to Administrator Ludovico. All right. We need to find Spencer Woolworth, who is at the hotel, but I think both of these things are the hotel, so that's fine. We need to go to this meeting spot. I feel like we should do this, or this. Where is this, by the way? Where might this be? Sure. Let's, I think before we leave, I just want to make sure there's nothing else in this zone so we don't have to come back here before we do. Productivity Queen. Also outside. Prince of Tossball. Everything is outside. So I feel like, we have finished this whole area, and there's nothing left to do here, as far as I know, which makes me feel like we've been so productive, and everyone should be proud. And we're that much closer to finding the murder of Halcyon Helen. Max Ryder says, the problem with the U.S. is greed. But didn't the 80s tell us that greed is good? Carlin says, the U.S. was founded by litigious Brits. American culture is always so happy. Yeah, that's true. PH says, suing is one of the only ways in the U.S. to escape poverty. Sizzle says, people should sue more, but for the right reasons. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I feel like there are people, okay, so here's the next thing I want to say. This is the next thing. This is the tricky part, right? There are people who really should be suing people, but they can't afford to, so they don't, right? Like, it would never occur to me to sue people for things. Like, that just seems like I don't have a lawyer. How would I even do that? Why would I do that? That just seems like too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think I could do it. But there are people who have access to lawyers, right? But then I think about all those lawyers that you see on TV, you know, those like clearly those cheap lawyers. They're like, hey, did you get injured? Come and visit me, Bob Lawyer McMahon. And like, you know, those guys or gals, those lawyers are going to take like 90% of whatever the settlement is. They're going to like basically take advantage of poor people. And the poor people will not be able to afford better lawyers that will not fleece them. So I just think about the ways in which you're probably going to be. Oh, thank you, Rissa. Okay, we have got some problems here, so let's. Okay, hold on. We've got some. Okay, we have got some things going on. Let me shoot some people here. Oh, hey. We've got some problems. That was a good fight, everybody. Apparently my reputation with Sublight has increased. I didn't mean. I think I might have shot some allies. Well, I mean, shot some people. Why is there a flag on me? What do you think that flag means? Before we, oh, it probably means I've got, I don't know what it means. Why don't we check out our character and find out what's going on, if we have anything that's bad happening with us. Skills are down. Why? Oh, food. I have to eat food. That's fine. Perks, nothing there. Details. Confidence. Oh. Your next attack after killing a mini is guaranteed a critical hit. Oh, that's cool. That's neat. That's probably gonna something that'll go away. Hey, Sublight. I feel like Sublight Underground has got mixed feelings about me right now, which, you know how that is. Let's save, and then I'm gonna read chat because I think chat is probably gonna be very exciting. And me shooting, I feel bad about that. I just shot some people. I didn't shoot all the people I wanted to shoot. I shot a bunch of people. I'm gonna just look at chat. Yeah. I'm gonna just look at chat is what I'm gonna do. All they care about is easy money. A lot of patients could care less about their real health if they can steal a big payday at their expense. Yeah, that's a bummer, because here's the thing, if people cheat, if they sue to cheat, that's gonna make the cost go up for everybody, right? Like, be a little neighborly. The Puritans tried to sue Britain for violating the religious beliefs and then moved out to the US where they were left out of court. Artist says, talking about the problems with inequity of money, legal actions are one of those, as a lot of time companies will bring suits against people they know cannot afford to fight the suit and have little options. Yes, absolutely. Hawkins said, they sue too much as it is. You don't want to see what my wife and I have to pay for malpractice insurance. That's wild. Schmelzer says, oh, there's a lot of petty suing going on here in Germany. Really? But from what I understand, the stakes, meaning the amount of money in question, is much lower. Lincoln the lawyer. Yes, that kind of a thing. B Right says, do you think you should repeat part of this game? I suppose I'm asking, do you take requests? Sorry, I'll get my coat. B Right, you just donated 250 bits, and I think you know what that means. Sithel says, problem is that there's a lot of things that should be sued, but mainly in the realm of people that got a lot of money. Yes. It also part of the system where they're rich if you want to think that suing is bad if they do all the time. Yeah. Now, what I actually think is the best thing to do is join associations to defend your rights, since usually you're not the only one being mistreated. The flag, it means I'm a patriot. Yes. Sub-light relation status, it's complicated. So, you were over-friendly in your fighting. I was over-friendly in my fighting. So we just got some bits from B-Right, which was very lovely of him. So B-Right, to thank you for these bits, whenever somebody gives me tips or bits, I sing We're in the Money, as sung by Ginger Rogers in the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I sing it in Pig Latin. And so, you know what I was thinking? So I know the song We're in the Money because I am of a certain age, but I wonder how many people who are like 20 know the song We're in the Money. Like, I know it because, for those of you who are my age, Gen Xers, etc., or older, growing up, there weren't that many TV channels, and during the day, it was all syndication and reruns all the time. And so, like, it was all, so I am very conversant with media from the 40s and 50s, because that was what was on television when we were not in prime time. So I know a lot of super old stuff, like the Bowery Boys, the Dead End Kids. Like, I watched stuff from the 30s even, because that's what was on TV. But I wonder how many people know the song We're in the Money. That's my question, by the way. So, because if you don't know the song, it might be really weird what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. We're in the money, the skies are sunny. Old man depression, you're through, you've done us wrong. Oh, we never read headlines about breadlines today. And when we see the landlord, we can look that guy right in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Right, that's it, not in Pig Latin, but in Pig Latin. Irway in hey the anime. Irway in hey the anime. Eve way up gaily up way off way up way at way to tit gaily on way you. Irway in hey the anime. Either ice skates or any say. Old me and the ADS cray we are a ooh three you stay on way young way you. Eve every eat red lay on slay. Up way at Brian slay. Ooh tay day. And we see the end, the roll up the eye guy right in the eye. We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Thank you for those bits. Thank you so much. That was awesome. That was awesome. So let me see. Sithel, oh, don't you know, my wife and I are those rich HC professionals that deserve to be sued by poor folks, including setting things so they actually fall out of bed. Ooh, never mind that my wife and I paid our way through school, saved to pay our loans. No, we aren't the rich people. No, and I don't think that Sithel was saying that you were. I think that there are, like, corporations that are putting, like, dumping toxic waste into people's, like, I feel like there's some people in the government of Michigan that probably should be sued over what happened to Flint and is still happening to Flint. But I don't think that, like, your average doctor who didn't, like, I don't think people should be sued if they didn't do anything. Do you know what I mean? Sithel is familiar with the old song. Nice. Versus, I watched a lot of those black and whites on weekends hanging out with my dad, who was not into any sports ball type games. B-Right says, in the UK when I was growing up, there weren't many TV channels, and during the day, they either broadcast programs for schools or a test card. The whole people thinking all doctors are rich mentality, the same thing people think all actors. Oh, yeah, most doctors are not rich. 1984, I think that was when I went from 3 to 4 channels. Oh, yeah, because the UK, it was just BBC 1, 2, and 3, right? And then the 4th one was Sky, and that came later. How many channels do you have in the UK now? How many channels are in the UK now? Ooh, I want to know. Nobody sue Hawkeye, unless Hawkeye murders people. That's the mentality we do with an HE and healthcare professionals. Yeah, I think that healthcare professionals are really, I think they're really kind of screwed over that way. God bless Channel 4. Of course, in Ireland, we also had 2 RTA. I feel a little bad about that murder, by the way. And I really did not mean to murder people. That was not my goal or my intent. I was not planning on murder. So awkward. I believe we've been to that space. We've been over, I think we haven't been over there, which is probably where that profitability is. But, and I believe this is the way we came in, so I think our ship is over here. but I figured we could just go and find out what's happening over here. It seems close, and I don't think we've explored... Oh, I don't know all the places we haven't explored, but I feel like... Is everybody okay? Oh, apparently not. Excuse me. Let's do that. Let's do a little bit of that. You want to be our friend? Great. Well, I don't want to be your friend because you're trying to kill me. And also, you should just take care of them. You're my friends. Okay, cool. Somebody out to get me? Hi.
That does it. Time for a drink?
Okay. Hey, this time I did not shoot anybody that didn't deserve to be shot, so that was good. I feel... I just need to bring up a small thing that I'm noticing. Okay, look at this. Look at all of that. The last time we were here, I did not notice people with parasites bopping out of their body at this level. I think that whatever is happening here is escalating, is what I'm trying to tell you, because there were not so many people with... I just want to note that there were not as many people who had... I did not see a bunch of people with parasites murdering other people all the time when we were here the last time, so I'm just a little concerned, you know? Just a little worried about that. Also, I think... What do we have here? This is a fast ration pill. Do we have more of those, or are we out? Because if we are out of them, we should probably replace them with something. Yeah, I don't think we have any more left, do we? Look, here's the thing about my consumable slots. I have not updated them for a while, and I think that I might be... We've got a lot of Adreno time. That's cool. Spacer's Choice Fast. This is a natural health regeneration. Let's just replace this with... And what is this? This is pep pills. Ooh. Let's see if we do have pep pills. So now we need something that will increase our health regeneration, probably. Something like... Oh, also, I need to eat more stuff. Not just because I need to get them, but just because it seems like it would be... What is this? Increase base health. Based health. Here we go. Natural health regeneration. Let's equip that. Because I didn't actually see any more of that last thing. I think we might have been out of it, and... Oh, we had one left. We had one left. I think that this is probably better for us. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I just... realized that I went in here to eat food. So sorry. Whatever this is, we've got a lot of them. So let's just have a mock apple. Oh, could actually just... let's not eat that. Let's eat some... This is heavy, and let's eat... Oh, no. Nope, not that. That's regeneration. We like regeneration. This is base health. Salt tuna. Done. Fixed. Go. Save. And then I'm going to check chat, because I bet you're saying really cool things that I want to know about. So, too many channels now. We have digital satellite cable. Oh, BBC One, ITV. I've heard about that one. BBC Two, channel 4, 5, where the PBS channels sequence. Oh, PSB channel sequence. Nanoheart says, where I live, I can be sued by private citizens if I help a woman get an abortion. Really awesome time we're living in. Yeah, that's awful. That's just, we got to do some, oh yeah. I wish we had like some way to get like nuisance things. We even have a version of PBS and the Smithsonian Channel. Oh, that's cool. As an aside, the Avengers was on ITV. I know, because I saw the little... I don't know all the places we have explored. Wouldn't that be a known unknown or an unknown unknown? I don't... Oh. B-Right says, maybe they are places that have been plored. Later they were explored. Maybe they're like... Resplored? Haka says, Sithel says, Haka, yes, do not get me wrong. In general, it's not persons that need to get sued, but organizations. Also, you say it's a bit weird, since what you should get for suing someone is restitution, not a payday. You do not win a sue complaint. You just get what you're owed in a functioning system. And I know that's not always the case in the USA, where it's often feast or famine. Yeah, and I feel like that's a lot of our problems, right? That our system is not functioning particularly well. Hey, I feel like we must have been in here before, but it looks like we haven't, because we haven't robbed everything in here. So we clearly have not been in this room before. But since we're here now, we might as well just take all of the things. Do you think I should have my gun out? No, we're safe, right? No one's going to attack us, right? Okay, good. I don't have my gun out because it feels like it's going to be rude. Let's sneak.
They'll never see us.
And then steal everything that's here.
What do you think
Oops.
you're doing?
Nothing?
Consider this your warning.
Thanks. You know, my reputation with them is just not doing well. I suppose I should just... There was a bruiser there that I did not... Oh, no, that's fine. Hi. How are you?
We don't toss troublemakers out of airlocks. We just throw them over the edge.
I wanted to steal everything in this room, but you were looking at me, which is rude. Hate that. Read that one. Look, there are things here I could just... You know what? Here's what's going to happen. Because we were prevented from stealing all of the things, I'm just going to take everything that this person... I'm going to pickpocket them. That's what I'm going to do as restitution.
Timeline discrepancy detected
Oh.
nearby.
Hold on. What's going on? What do we have? Oh, there's a discrepancy. We're going to analyze it, find out what's going on.
Analysis concludes. The losing player used an overly cautious strategy that led to an insurmountable deficit in points.
Didn't Vargas describe Evan as overly cautious? I guess it showed in his play.
Slug discipline records show a half-dozen reports of illegal gambling in games of chance on company property. Perhaps there's evidence of an ante for this game?
Maybe, he had a gambling debt someone cashed in on? Okay, we have, you know, discovered some stuff. Oh, okay. Workbench. Oh, okay. What is this? Work assignment list. A Slug employee schedule. Under Crew C, Purpleberry Orchards, and Connector Complex, someone has scratched out a name and replaced it with Evan O'Connell's. Interesting. By the way, we didn't go to look to see what was in that one crate, did we? We might have to go back, but maybe we don't have to. Investigate the complex between the hotel and the orchards. We've got this workbench we could use. We're not going to do that, though. Not at the moment. That employee is still just around in our business. Rude. Look, I'm going to read chat in like a second. But let's go in the storeroom and take everything in here. Oh. To make ourselves feel better about being yelled at and losing reputation. I, however, am going to need to put in a... We have lockpicking. Oh, we need lockpicking goggles. Hold on. Not hacking, but lockpicking. That's hack. We need lockpicking. Do we have any lock picking. So we want either lock picking or stealth skills, everyone. Let's go down to the bottom so we can find long guns, hacking, stealth skills +5. That's probably gonna, let's just do that for the moment. And then
You gotta teach me that.
I am very excited about changing my clothing in a more responsible way, just for the record. And I need to put on a better outfit. Like, I want my regular helmet, which is not that one. It is, what helmet was I wearing? Well, I suppose I could wear this one, because it gives me bonuses to stealth skills. I feel like that's probably a good thing to do, right? Because I'm stealthing around a lot. Sure, let's do that. Also, I need to read chat, because I feel like chat's going to tell me something really important, and chat always tells me something important. So I just don't want to what's the word? Break my flow and forget where I was in the room. You know what I mean? But once I clear this room, I'm going to look at chat. Although I can see somebody saying something. I got a 10-minute warning from Rissa. It's fine. It's fine. I'm going to go on my bike ride, by the way, after this. I'm saying it out loud so that you all know it to be true. Just for the record, I'm going to go on my bike ride after we clear out this room. After I leave today, is what I'm just... Sublight underground agent. Please remember not to fire weapons at hotel guests unless no one's around. Lockdown alert. Alert to all Sublight underground agents. Until further notice, the Eridanos atmospheric complex is under lockdown. No person is permitted to arrive or depart from the complex without explicit permission from Mr. Kincannon. From Crew Quarters Terminal to El Vargas. Under control. Oi, Ms. Vargas. Wanted to let you know everything's under control. Situation's normal, just a small weapons malfunction, slight gas container combustion. Workplace hazard, really. Maybe if you actually trained us, instead of spending all your time shouting at your overinflated head off, Slug wouldn't need to buy itself a new wall. Oh well, live and learn, yeah? Someone not part of your crew. To anyone on my idiot maintenance crew who is still alive and not actively on fire, got a dozen reports about an explosion in the generator room. Last I recall, I sent a team of you hull heads down there for routine inspection. Please tell me you'll remember to shut down the void-forsaken generator before you started jabbing around in there. Tell me you at least remembered the most basic of safety procedures, because if you forgot again, I swear my grandmother's grave, I will find out, and then I will find you. And if, and I do mean if, any of your organs are still functioning after I've finished with you, I will rip them out and sell them to the nearest Spratwurst vendor, which will make maybe half a dent in the monetary damages you've caused on Slug's behalf. Fuck. Lily Vargas, Slug Operations Manager. Well, there seem to have been some problems happening here. Absolutely. And, I'm gonna just, I'm just at this moment going to check chat, make sure we did a good all the way around. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Stand in front of this door. Wait. Good. Chat. You've never seen what punitive damages look like and what juries consider punishment. Yeah, and I think that's like a bit of a problem. B-Right says, big part of the problem in the U.S., and here too more recently, is that the lawyers get a payday whatever happens. The plaintiff may get pennies on the pounds, cents on the dollar, so the only winners are the lawyers. B-Right, I have a comment about that. Sithel says, well, the lawyers should be compensated for the work they put in, but not more than that, so I do not like the way the lawyers can get so rich in the USA, yeah. There's a comment, B-Right, that I want to tell you. This is all about the UK law. Time of Gift says, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold, know when to walk away, know when to duck. You ever count your money when you're sitting at the table? We time up for counting when you've been killed. Yep. So there's something we all need to work on world is how to make a more fair legal system. B-Right, do you want to know a book that I read that, like, as a high school student, because I was a nerd and I was obsessed with Dinah Rigg, I read Bleak House by Charles Dickens, and Bleak House by Charles Dickens centers a court case that was based on court cases that were actually happening at the time of the 19th century that lasted 100 years, like, lasted decades and decades and decades. And these were all probate cases where somebody dies, has a will, and people like argue about the will. And then like the kids argue about who's going to get the money from the will, but then those kids grow up and die, and their kids are still arguing about who's going to get the money from the will. And so it's about this like multi-generational court cases where in the end, by the time it's all settled, there's no money left. Only the lawyers, it was just the lawyers who got that money all the time, all along. Yeah. Just gonna note that one. Case ended only because there wasn't, the case ended only because there wasn't cash. Yeah. Halcyon Helen versus the Brain Eaters. I feel like Halcyon Helen is not the kind of person you want to hook up with. Not like romantically, I mean like as her sidekick. It seems like all of her sidekicks die. So it seems like she's kind of like the Doctor if all of her companions were Adric. You see what I'm saying to you? I feel like it's not a good idea. That's all I'm saying. I feel like it's just a bad idea to be her sidekick. Ooh. Quick note. Oh, we're in the Grand Colonial Hotel. Well, that's interesting. Where are we? Have we been here before? Hey, I don't know if we have been here before. This seems to be where all the people who work here hang out. This is kind of exciting. We get to see how the sausage is made. Also, I realize that we are about ready to go to time, so I'm not going to go too far, but we're just going to... Bellhops? Out of order? This is very exciting. Also, I want to know who's everybody's favorite Doctor is. Broken elevator notice. The Grand Colonial's hotel service elevator is out of order and will be for the foreseeable future. Please use the stairs to transport all equipment to and from the employee quarters until further notice. Additional liniments will be dispersed for those whose back pain becomes too severe to continue providing the impeccable service our hotel is known for. What a terrible place. I have a different view on personal injury lawyers because I know someone who works for one. Most of the cases don't make anyone much money besides making sure the hospitals get paid. The average lawyer isn't making millions. Well, you know what, though? I am Death Star Canteen. I'm sure that's probably true. The thing is, I think that very often we imagine people in X profession make huge amounts of money, but a lot of them don't.
Something mighty strange went on earlier.
What happened? Norval get his cap stuck in the toilet again?
Not today. I was carrying a bag up to the second VIP guest floor earlier. Even for our guests, it was spectacularly heavy.
Wow, exciting.
I wasn't finished. I took a bad step and dropped it. Know what spilled out? Rocks. Whoever owned it was just making me carry it around for fun.
Who would do that? What is wrong with people in this universe?
No, I'm sorry. We don't serve any drinks with those tiny umbrellas.
That's a bummer. Also, I feel like it must really suck to work in this hotel. I feel like working in this hotel is probably the worst thing ever. Ever. Notice of promotion. Congratulations, employee and/or addressee. You have been rewarded one free tour of the Rizzo's Distillation and Libation Station as a reward for logging in at least 10,000 hours of service to the Rizzo's family. As you take your first sip of your choice of Rizzo Spectrum vodka, remember to take a moment to experience gratitude. What a terrible, terrible place to work. Terrible place. The fabulous Bertie the Black Hole Holcomb of the Rizzo's Rangers. I am very worried about everything. Engineer job posting. Attention, the Grand Colonial Hotel is seeking a new volunteer engineer. Skills include elevator maintenance, electrical engineering, civil engineering, computer engineering, quantum engineering, knowing when to keep problems to oneself. The employee who accepts this position will be expected to carry out their existing duties at the hotel for no additional payment. Talk to your supervisor if interested during your 15-minute break. And don't forget, with more hours logged each week, the closer you get to winning the free tour. Wow. Wow. I don't mean to speak out of turn, but I think this place is bad. I know I feel like what I'm saying is probably outrageous. Nobody believes me, but I feel like it's bad. Also, what I'm going to do is take a 360 around. I'm not going to go through any doors. I'm going to take a 360 around the area just to see what we have. And then I'm going to set myself up towards it. That seems bad, huh? Oh. Are you just killing sprats? That sprat was fine. Are we in a problem area? Maybe I should, note that and then start signing off right about now because, that was like yeah. So, giving it a good looking once over, I think what we do is, these are corridors, and that is a whole exploration area, so we're not going to do that.
Hear about the murder?
How the hell could I not have heard about it?
We'll just do this, and then we'll quit.
Security was sweeping for evidence.
Well,
Hey, employees. How are you doing?
Got anything good for lunch?
What was that? Don't... Ooh, I don't like any of these sounds.
Underground appreciates your patronage.
Hey.
Ugh, what the? Oh my law! There's a mosquito in my sandwich.
Whoa, are you all right? You get...
Are you eating sprats? So, we're gonna go now. I just want you to know
I haven't felt this great in ages.
that I don't feel good about our life. About what's happening in our life. Just for the record, but we're gonna be thorough, take care of all the things we need to take care of, and then we're gonna quit. Just look, I'm purposely not looking at checks. I know you're judging me, but I'm just gonna read this thing, and then we're good. Out of order notice. Please excuse our mess. We're working hard to remove all of the valuable treasures our valued guests have misplaced in our pipes. Per usual, items recovered from the sewage inhaler will be auctioned off at the start of the month to employees of the Grand Colonial Hotel. Note that sanitation materials will be auctioned off as well. Happy hunting. Oh. This is a terrible place to work. Although, to be honest, I think everywhere in here is a terrible place to work. All right, everybody, I cannot steal all the things here because everybody's looking. But, I can steal that. I bet I can steal this. And also, I bet I can steal that. Because if I am, crouched, no one can see me. If this were Solid Snake, I would have a, what do you call it? A crate over my head. But I don't. That's okay. And look, we're done. This is it. We are out of here. Ta-da! And, yep, that's it. We are good. We have thieved all the things, and we cannot thieve those things. Everyone's looking at us all the time. But we now start right there, save the game, and we're done. That's it. See? Look, closing. I'm ending it. Ta-da! See? I'm out. That's it. I'm done. Boom. I did it. I did the thing. I was responsible. Now I'm gonna check up on chat. To see that you were probably telling me to, see what I have to say. My favorite doctor is the one from Star Trek, Voyager. Oh, I love him. Or Katrina from the Heart. Oh, yeah. The USOL system is odd. People don't help crash victims because they're afraid of being sued. Yeah, see, that's no good, Volus. Favorite doctor? One from Voyager. Yeah. Bones, mutual Star Trek. It's a class action suits that make lawyers money. B. Wright says, one of my most favorite doctors is the current one. Actually, Tom Baker from Classic. Yeah. I think I liked all the new Who doctors. Jodie Whittaker didn't get the best support from the writing. I like all the I like all the new Who doctors too, and of course there are some iffy writings, right? But you can log extra hours for that tour. Sounds like a great place. Josh says, interesting talk for the day. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend and look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thank you. The hotel is a dream job. Nightwear is still a dream. Fair. May this hotel never see a day of profit. Yeah. Carissa says, someone just said they haven't felt this good in ages. That can't be good. This is what I'm saying. I feel like people are infecting the entire place. Like, we do not want any of these parasites to get off planet, is what I'm trying to say. Insert distorted Simon Cowell here. Walking out. Clearly they're about to be killed. Judging. I judge Trooper to be awesome. It's only 4 minutes over. Please note, employee, your moment of gratitude has been noted and deducted from your paycheck. Yeah, you mean we have liberated the items from this horrible workplace? Yes, we have. Everyone, thank you so much for being here for this stream. It's been lovely. And thank you for all of you who showed up last night to help me go through figuring out some of this combat stuff. One other note. I actually think that if you are prone and behind cover, that should stack, so you should get a -3. So I think that when you die for cover, that's a -2, of course, because you're behind cover, but being prone is a -1. So I think that if you're prone behind cover, that's -3 to your other person's attack. Of course, the problem is that you miss all of your actions the turn after if you die for cover. So getting behind cover on purpose is better for you. And I also think that if you're trying to stealth, I think if you're like behind cover and prone, which is a -2 for people to hit you, that should be a +3 for your stealth check. That's how I'm going to rule it. That's how I'm going to rule it if this, right, happens. So those are thoughts of mine. And also, yeah, so anyway, I'm just thinking about these things because my players are being very careful with their combat. So I like to do a little bit of practice myself so I can sort of see where the little like hinks are when it comes to the rules. So you can find me at Trooper SJP here on Twitch and also on YouTube. Please note there will be YouTube things happening at some point soon. You can find me at Academic Foxhole on Twitter and also on Patreon. And Patreon goes to support the casts for the shows that I'm running and for the art and basically to pay people that are working for the show. And I don't get paid unless we make enough for me to get paid. And let's see. And being a member of our Patreon helps. Also, tips and bits help. You can also join our Discord. We also have a merch store, which I keep forgetting to say, but we have this cool merch store over at Fourth Wall, and you can get really great merch. You can get like General Foxhole merch, like this lovely mug, but you can also get Gamblers merch, like this lovely notepad. We've got like a shirt, poster. We're going to be getting a new round of merch, but not right now. We have got to wait until the next cycle, getting it ready for it. Also, there was a question that Rissa asked, and I forgot to finish the answer. I started, but I didn't finish it, which was because of will we get fewer episodes? No, because we had people who had like dropped out. We had to cancel some episodes of Kolos, that last season of Kolos. And ever since then, I've instituted a new policy. And that is when I make the call sheet for the shows that I'm in, I'm like, it's going to be 12 episodes or 10 episodes or however many episodes. And I list out the call sheet with all the dates, but I also list out three extra dates at the end so that everybody fills in their availability. And I have basically two I usually just put in two extra floating dates that if we don't need them, we don't use them. But if I have to cancel a show because people aren't there or whatever's going on, then I know that we have those. I've asked the cast if they have available those last 2 dates. So what that means is we are not going to miss any dates. Although we have used up all of the extra dates on my calendar. So if we miss any more dates, then it's going to come out of, then I have to ask the cast if they're able to do an extra week. And you never know if they can or not, because people usually, when you have a set end date, people will then like, oh, I'm going to go now schedule something else in the middle or whatever it is, right? So we will not be missing any episodes, which is great for me. And this is my new, hey, I refine, every time I do another season of a show, I refine my process little by little to make it a little bit better each time around. And So we're going to have our full season, and full 12 episodes plus that one extra we had in the very beginning, unless something happens. But I think we should be good. We will be missing. We do have one more episode we will not be having, and that's going to be in June. We have one more week off because of people missing stuff. And I just reminded that I need to ask for one more. I need to put out a call for one more, an invite for one more cast member. We're doing a one shot. It's gonna be a very, very cool one shot. I'm really excited about this one shot, and I already have 2 people who have said yes for this one shot. I'm the third. It's a GM-less game-ish. It's not really, but I just need one more person. And I know I've asked a couple of people who are not available, but I have what I'm good. I need to remind myself that I need to put out a couple more invites. I had to put that one on hold because that thing is happening after the premiere of the new show that will be happening on Tuesdays. So let me just let you know, we've got a really cool one-shot coming up in June, and a brand new show that'll be running for 8 weeks in June as well, in June and July. So there's a lot of really cool things happening in the Foxhole over the summer. And all of this happens because you are supportive and because you're here. So I want to thank you all for being here and being supportive and being amazing. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to go and go to the pharmacy, make a bike ride, clean up this place a little bit so that when my friend comes over, it will not be ridiculous, and eat something. That's what I'm going to do. So, Dow, of course I spend time with you. I love spending time with you all because it's just lovely. I love everything. Everybody here is so kind and thoughtful with each other, and I appreciate how nice you are to each other, so thank you. Thank you, Be Right, and Lone Koo, and Artie, Dow, Sithel. Yeah, and the t-shirt is so soft and lovely. Look, it says, when I DM, I can never say how many episodes I'm going to need. Guess I have to watch you GM prep panel now. You know, Lone Koo, I will tell you, and then I'm going to go. Oh, thank you for the reminder, Rissa. Thank you. I will tell you this, Lone Koo, and then I will go. When I first started running shows by season, that was when I was in Germany in the army. And we started doing that because the group had like 5 GMs. And also in the army, you never know whether or not someone's going to go on a temporary duty and like have to leave or whatever. So we decided to just do it in chunks of like 10 to 15, basically run our games in seasons. So I would GM something for 10 to 15, and then the next GM would take over and GM something for 10 to 15. And we would basically rotate. There were 3 regular GMs and then like a 4th open slot for somebody who wanted to like just sort of jump in. And so I would run a season, and then I would be a player for like 3 cycles, and then I would run it for another. I'd do like the season 2 of the thing I was running. I was running Espionage at the time. And what that meant was I never burnt out. It also meant that if people couldn't do a cycle, they could like step out because they had to do something else for a while, which meant that we didn't have people missing episodes. So we had really great attendance. People were in when they needed to be. They were out when they didn't. We had less burnout. It was a really good model, and so I still hold on to it. But here's the thing that I think is really interesting. What we did then was we said 10 to 15 because we couldn't say exactly how many episodes it would be, but we knew we had to basically wrap up within 10 to 15 episodes. And I usually could sort of hit there around 10 to 15. Nowadays, when I'm doing a show that's streamed and I've got people who've got busy lives and have to have a good end date, I just make sure we end. You know what I mean? I just make sure. And so what usually happens is, so we're doing 12. So we just finished episode 6. So once we hit episode 8, I'm just telling you some tips, right? Once we hit episode 8, I'm going to start thinking about, okay, where are we at? I've got 4 more episodes. This is a sandbox where I'm not railroading them at all, so they can do whatever they want to do. But where might a natural stopping point happen? And a natural stopping point is either a lull or a cliffhanger, right? And I was very lucky that we were able to basically, but in the first season, I was like, okay, they spent the entire season on Marduk. I didn't know if they would or not, but they did. They spent the entire season on Marduk. And I was like, okay, well, we will end with Marduk then. And so I just made sure that we kind of like, I basically got them jumping to the next space and then like a cliffhanger. With this one, we're in Thebes. We've spent the first 6 episodes and we're in Thebes. And I don't know how long we're going to be in Thebes. I don't know what the pacing yet of these players are. It might be that we do 1 planet per season. I feel like sometimes we might be able to do 2 planets per season, depending. And so we will find out. I don't know yet. I don't know how long they're going to be in Thebes. They might leave Thebes in next session or the session after. And if they leave Thebes by session 8, that means I've got 4 sessions left, which says to me, we can either, depending on what happens, do shenanigans on the ship, which might take some time, or we jump into the next system and see what we've got there. Like if the next, it depends on where they're jumping. Anyhow, what I tend to do is I start thinking about like, okay, what are we looking at in terms of how much time do we have left? And do I need to pad? Like basically I'm thinking to myself, do I need to pad so that we end at the end of this planet? Or do I need to truncate so that we can move on to the next space and not? You know what I mean? So basically I just have to sort of, I know that I've got 12. So around episode 8, I start thinking about, okay, what do they need from me right now to sort of get us to a space that'll be sort of satisfying? And there's just practice at it. You know what I mean? You practice it. And also part of it, this is the other thing too, part of it is getting to know your players, getting to know what their rhythm is. And once you get to know their rhythm, then you know, okay. But now I've only done 1 season with them. And that 1 season, they spent the entire time on Marduk. I don't know. I'm going to learn a lot by the end of season 2. If they spend the entire planet on Thebes, the entire season on Thebes, and then leave at the end of this season, then I'm going to learn something about them. I'm going to learn that they will take an entire season on a planet if that's what they're into. But they may not. So I'm still learning what their pacing is, and I just try to make sure that I can move the spotlight, right, as necessary to make it so that we sort of, like, my whole job is to call scene, right? So I just have to make sure that whenever they're herd those cats so that when we get to a scene, a good scene break, we're around there. So let's see. If you're now 15, okay, no, I'm eating and doing chores. That's it, everybody. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting. Join our Discord, hang out with us. You can find me next. Today is Saturday. There's no stream on Sunday. Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern over at Wandering DM's channel is the return, season 3 of Montreal by Night. So I've got to get my pancake makeup on. I will probably do a surprise stream where we go over we sort of like work through the new updated Camlin Viper. Now 20 displacement tons rather than 15. I started off with 10, but now I'm at 20. And we'll probably do like another sort of like combat thing. If I can get like the new sheet up and sort of test it out. We're doing some testing together. And so probably Tuesday or Wednesday. And then Thursday, you can find me playing maybe Tuesday. It might have to be Tuesday because I've got a thing Wednesday night. We'll see how much I can get done. And then Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be here playing Disco Elysium. And then Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern will be the full cast back for the Theban Massacre, or not. We'll find out if there is one or won't be. We'll find out. And then Saturday will be the Outer Worlds. And then Sunday, don't know if I have anything Sunday night. We'll find out. Anyhow, that's what I'm doing next week. I will make sure the schedule's updated. I've got some other things I want to get ready for you all. So thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great Saturday, and I will catch you on I'm not going to raid anybody because I've got all this stuff to do, but I'll catch you on the flip side, everybody. Ciao. Bye. Thank you, everybody.